just wanted to stop by and thank you guys for coming to. I mean, this isn't the relaunch of the Hippy Dippy, but this is the relaunch of the Recruitment show.
You're unmuted.
Oh, what's that? 85% of the whole board.
I'm sorry.
Talking about Shelby Park. Listen, I was ready. I was going to get that point.
Like, actually stick to the point of the debate, which is talking about the accomplishments and the failures of the Biden presidency. Granted, Gibbs did send a link. It was a Facebook video.
Well, I mean, it's a video from Sky News. It's a video from Sky News. I mean, I have to clip. It's a clip.
A nonpartisan border bill, nonpartisan international affairs bill.
Yeah, and the Dems try to do it.
Focus on the bills. No, you guys don't. You guys try and lump everything together so that there's a child tax credit for the blind and people without feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, thems and theys, and all other comers, welcome to the newly revived, freshly risen Hippy Dippy Recruitment, starring Sansol. Give yourself an introduction real quick.
All right. Hi, I'm Sansol. I'm an idiot on the internet. I'm a political science student. I just like arguing.
Okay, Nina.
Hi, I'm Nina from twitch.tv/Nina. I also like arguing, so I'm excited to get into it. I'm also Admiral Gibbs's nemesis.
Awesome. Media Wench.
Hi, I'm the Media Wench Mechaplex Media. You can find us in all the places. And I'm not really here to, dunk on people too hard. I'm just here to get high and fucking laugh at y'all. That's probably basically it.
Hippy Jesus.
Yeah, I'm Hippy Jesus. I don't really have a fucking media footprint. I'm just here to argue and yell at people because it's fun for me and it's therapeutic.
Druid Jesus.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on YouTube at Jesus the Druid, and here's my cat, Frankie.
Admiral Gibbs.
Hey, it's me. I'm Admiral Gibbs. You find me everywhere as Admiral Gibbs. God bless America and God bless Texas.
Pentuple TV.
Hi, I'm an attorney by trade. I've been streaming on Twitch for 1 year, exactly to the day today, and you can find me on YouTube and Twitter.
And Drone Tech.
Hey everybody, I'm Drone Tech. I've been around for quite a while. I'm on Twitter and YouTube. I do videos mostly just calling out the media and left for hypocrisy and doing all the things they accuse us of doing.
And hosted by yours truly, Westside Tyler. Our topics today are: what are the greatest accomplishments and failures of the Biden presidency? Is the use of the generative AI moral or ethical? And whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? Our rules for the show are simple and straightforward. Listen to the moderator at all times and do not speak when the moderator is speaking, at risk of being muted or booted. No slurs, misgendering, or violations of TOS, to include Fed posting. The only time you can return to any previous topic is in the intro to the next topic, but you will not be afforded any additional time. Our interlocutors will be given brief 1 to 2 minute opening statements per topic, so keep it quick and to the point, all of you, because I will let you get cut off to keep things moving on. Following intros for each of our 3 topics, we'll open the panel to all contenders. Each segment will end with closing statements in the order of how each speaker was introduced at the beginning of this program. And again, everybody, welcome to Hippy Dippy Recruitment. Our first topic is: what are the greatest accomplishments and failures of the Biden presidency? 1 to 2 minutes, starting with Sansol.
For the beginning of my opening statement, I would like to ask a point of order. If we're going to differentiate between 2 different Jesuses on this, can we just call Hippy Jesus Hippy? Just make everyone's life easier? That's how I'm
The other guy looks more like Jesus too.
All right, cool. So my intro is basically Biden-Harris campaign and their administration has been unbelievable the entire time they've been in office. They've been able to get a lot done when it comes to major spending packages, major pieces of legislation, their foreign policy. Just about everything that they've done has turned to gold. Now, that's not to say that there haven't been some failures. I think that their early border policy was very weak. I think that they could have done way better on that. I think that there's plenty to critique, but if we're going to go into any kind of economic conversation, if we're going to go into any kind of conversation related to trying, if maybe not perfectly, but trying to bring the country together, I think that they've done an excellent job.
Are you good? Okay, moving on to Nina.
Yeah, I think the Biden administration has been a great improvement, obviously coming from the Trump administration. I begrudgingly in some ways, was always going to vote for Biden, but I'm very happy to see Kamala carry over all of the good things that the Biden administration did, such as like on labor. Obviously, we see with Tim Walz, he's like very pro labor, and that's also a thing that the Biden administration did a lot of. They were very pro labor when it came to being on the picket line. Like I think Joe Biden was like the first president to ever even like go to a strike. And also handling of COVID. I think we kind of forget because we should forget because it's not a big fucking tragedy anymore. Now we're actually have some sensical policies around that and helped us get back on our feet. And also, I think that he did great when it came to the infrastructure, which is one of those things, again, where you don't really think about it, but it's incredibly important. And it's something that I think has improved the daily lives of a lot of people. That isn't like a huge thing. It's just actually just improving your life in a meaningful way.
Cool. Is that time? All right. Media Wench, go ahead.
So, I mean, a lot of people are going to talk about like actual policy things that are like Biden's accomplishments and stuff. But I think that probably his greatest accomplishment as president is his humility and willing to like read a room and be like, we need to unite and step down and put his pride aside. I think that the energy that he has just in that one act kind of breathed back into not just like his party, but the entire presidential race right now is an energy that I don't think that we've seen in a very, very long time in a presidential contest. I think that probably where he failed most was to just not throw enough shade at the Republican Party, at the archaic and just fucking strange ways and policies that they're trying to push that are just the least popular and probably the worst arguments for to be put in power. I think that's all kind of pathetic, and I think that it's sad that a lot of opportunities were missed in taking people to task and actually calling things out where they should have been.
Okay. Going on to Hippy, the non-druid one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching at home, there's a druid Jesus who looks actually like the canonical existence of Jesus with a little bit of flowers on his head, and we have Hippy Jesus who looks less like a hippie and Jesus than the one that does. So the blue shirt, Hippy Jesus, please take it away.
I appreciate the differential. We look so much alike that it was needed. It was absolutely needed to be done. I think that the Biden presidency has been as much of a success as we all could have assumed in 2021. We all thought that nothing was going to get passed. We all thought that Republicans in the House and the Senate were going to do nothing but block any chance that we had at making any progress whatsoever. I think that during this conversations, we should talk about the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan, and the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, because I feel like these 5 were the strongest policies that this administration has put forth.
Okay, is that your time? All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to Druid Jesus.
All right, so actually, it's probably best that I'm the first conservative to be going, because I do have more accomplishments for the Biden administration than I do have failures. The biggest failure I have is their pullout of Afghanistan, because the Taliban are literally now rolling around in the streets on rollerblades. I got some mixed feelings about that. Kind of badass, but also like, really? We left them all that equipment? So now we get into what his accomplishments are. The top one of the list is that he hasn't died yet. The second one is that he hasn't revealed that Jill has been making all of the important decisions. And personally, I fully disclose that I honestly am someone who is heart, mind, body, soul. I am spiritually, ethnically, religiously, and naturally American. I salute our second female president. After, of course, Madden Wilson, our first. Just as I'll salute the soon-to-be glue factory orange golfing horse again, or the first, aka third, female president or the handpicked California celebrity DA. And I do kind of agree with Winch that his greatest accomplishment is not seeking re-election. He should have realized that in 2020, though, and we should have realized this at least a year ago when literal Republicans were calling it out, saying that he's not going to run again, and we should stop this charade of and actually answer to the American people of who is running for the Democrats. Who is running the Democrats? It's not Harris. She might be the top candidate, but she's not running it. Biden's not running it. So I think we just need a little bit more honesty from all sides in politics, and that's my answer.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on. Thank you. Moving on to Admiral Gibbs.
Howdy. I want to say the Biden administration is, by all accounts, an utter and abstract failure. He is guaranteed to be ranked as one of the worst presidents of all time, and maybe the worst president since Herbert Hoover. In fact, just this week while I was out feeding the homeless, I struck up a conversation with one of them. Much like Herbert Hoover, when they had shanty towns called Hoovervilles, I asked the man where he was staying during this brutal Texas heat wave we're having. He turned and pointed at a ramshackle tent encampment and said, "Over there in Bidenville." And I had to bite my sandwich in order to keep from dying from laughter, because the joke literally wrote itself. The Biden administration has literally failed in every regard. According to Sky News, as of 3 days ago, actual inflation since Biden has taken over is 20%, not the lower 2.3% that the dishonest and treasonous Biden administration has proclaimed. This is not even factored in Biden's abysmal job in regards to foreign policy. Let's talk about a couple of the highlights there. The pathetic pullout of Afghanistan that was maybe one of the most embarrassing chapters in American military history. Russia has run rampant all over Ukraine. BRICS is more powerful than ever, gaining power, and North Korea is having an economic boom, selling weapons to everyone and sending advisors to the Mideast and Russia. And finally, let's just take an issue that is objectively Biden's biggest failure as president: the border. The handling of the border has been an unmitigated disaster of such magnitude that it is literally treason. Texas, as an independent nation, fought 2 wars with Mexico that established the Rio Grande as our southern border. Upon joining the United States, one of the guarantees was that this border would be secured. Instead, the Biden administration has actively hindered efforts at stopping this crisis and actively tore down working barriers. In fact, the only reason the border crisis is abated at all has been due to Greg Abbott's efforts. That's fine with the Operation Lone Star, and it's been wonderful. And one final thing, I do agree with Media Winch. His only accomplishment is him stepping down.
Literally down to the line. Pentemple TV, continuing on with you.
So I think the Biden-Harris administration fucking sucks. Obviously, the economy's terrible. The immigration, they've basically done nothing. They've blown up this student loan thing, promising everyone that they're just going to forgive their student loans. I think it's funny that Democrats are gaslighting themselves into thinking Kamala has a chance when they just spent 10 minutes at their own convention telling their own audience how to say her name. And then she spent her entire speech giving her own background, her Wikipedia bio, because nobody, even in her own audience, knows who she is. I don't think Biden woke up one day and had to step down. I think that this is proof that we were right. We've been telling the left wing that your guys senile and demented the entire time, and you guys finally admitted it, just curiously at the perfect time to let this administration avoid a primary challenge. I think they've been an absolute disaster, and I'm excited for them to get blown out of the water this November.
Okay, and moving on to the last introduction with Drone Tech.
Yeah, I found it's interesting that it seems we have some agreement on both sides that one of his best accomplishments was stepping down, which I think kind of shows that while the supporters of Biden will talk about how great everything he did was, they don't actually seem to believe that because they don't want him to be president again. In fact, they want, just like the meme, they've had a new chip implanted that tells them a woman that everybody hated just a few months ago now is their great hope. And I think actually one of Biden's greatest accomplishments is proving once and for all that our media is completely untrustworthy and is really just an extension of the Democrat Party and the Biden regime. They told us going back to 2020 that it was right-wing propaganda, far-right, misinformation, that Joe Biden was having a cognitive decline. And this is from the people who spent 4 years saying that Trump should be removed under the 25th Amendment. Now they lied and gaslit the country for 4 years, telling everybody that, no, this is all lie. Then right after a Biden supporter tries to take out Trump and kills a Trump supporter, suddenly now that's got to be memory hold. We're moving on to Kamala. Biden's out. Democracy, or I'm sorry, this is like our democracy, TM. And so I think the main thing that Biden has done is really just proven the left to be the programmable NPCs that we've always joked that they were, and how untrustworthy and how weaponized our institutions have really become under Democrat control.
Okay, and with that, we are moving into the open panel discussion. One more reminder for everybody that is competing: no slurs, no TOS violations. Try to let everybody have at least a second to talk, but most importantly, if I say to shut up, shut up! Go.
Amazing how much you guys love lying.
Yeah, seriously,
the feeling.
Okay, what are the lies? Let's
We
start
weren't
with
lying.
that.
We told you your guy wasn't gonna make it.
Can Gibbs post the link for that 20%?
Sure, I got it right here. I'm ready for you. I just
we
Yeah,
can
if you
start
mind
off
just
with
posting
the,
that in
I
the
googled it and it says it's not that inflation is up to 20%, which would be absolutely unbelievable.
Here's a video.
Literally nothing shows that. This shows that the CPI in like prices are up nearly 20%. Do you recognize that there's a difference between those two things?
I'm just reporting what Sky News said.
Well, and beyond
So
that,
you don't know the difference between those two things.
Look, beyond what the actual number
you
is,
understand the difference?
people are obviously feeling it, which is why the media and why you guys have to constantly insist how great the economy is. If it were so great, you wouldn't need to do
for
that.
Fortune 500 companies doesn't mean it's great for the average American.
Can you give me an example of how you're feeling it?
How I'm feeling it? Okay, so like I have 4 kids. I don't want to be a broken record on that, but groceries are and obviously energy are infinitely more expensive than they used to be. We have no we used to have spending money. We used to be able to go on vacations. We can't do that anymore ever because it goes all to
you have
gas.
4 kids?
Okay, and
Well, what are you comparing?
we're
it
married.
to?
We're both employed. We both have
Are you
good
saying
incomes.
under the Trump administration you were able to go on vacations and all of a sudden you can't?
Exactly. Yeah. Any disposable income that we had seems to have dried up. Just getting the normal things that we get every day. And don't act like it's like something special with me, because I mean, this is obviously a problem because the media is constantly focused on it. They're constantly, you see all these people going out and interviewing the public from MSNBC and CNN, Don Lemon, whoever, and they're always surprised that these people say they can't afford anything. But what we're reporting is that they can. They're saying they can't. Look, it's the reality of the situation. You guys can't deal with that, and that's why suddenly Kamala is this new thing that you're trying to distract everybody with.
I don't think we have to distract any. I think that you guys are distracting yourselves with Kamala. I don't know.
Right.
I don't
Why
know
would
what
we
you're
be
talking.
worried about
What do you
Kamala?
mean? We're
You
just,
guys are still running.
I mean, like
on this
every single one of the conservatives brought her up.
So the insanely,
here's the difference
insanely
between,
Orwellian,
hold on, Drone Tech,
the
I let you
insanely
talk, and I'm
Orwellian
gonna talk
campaign
now.
that we've been put
So
through.
like when all of us gave our intros, we talked about the policies and stuff like that. Give a little bit of credit to Gibbs because he did, but the other conservatives talked about like, oh no, they're very conveniently swapping in Kamala at the last second. Like I think that Kamala is occupying y'all's brain a lot more than it's occupying ours.
Did you not
and it
hear
doesn't have
what
anything to do with our.
Okay, when was Corinne Jean-Pierre
But what I
lying
wanna-
when 2 weeks before Biden dropped out, she was calling them cheap fakes? Like, was she lying? Do you agree or no?
I
Do you not
didn't
think
hear the
Biden-
first.
I don't even know
I didn't
what
hear
you're
the
talking
first
about.
half
How
of
do
the
you
question.
stand by the
that.
party?
I didn't
What are
hear
you
the first
talking
half of the
about?
Product they
question.
sold you fell apart.
What are you talking? Listen,
I didn't hear the
people-
first half of the question. If you had,
I've never heard of that.
No, I didn't hear the first half of the
Okay,
question.
he
you
told you
fucking
guys
loser.
for 4
Hold on.
years,
I thought we
hey,
were supposed to
this
talk
guy's
about the
King Island
accomplishments,
invented. He's
but you
going
guys
to
are
fall
super
apart
mad
before the
about
bill
fucking
even
Kamala.
over.
I mean, it's
And then you called them
hold on.
cheap fakes, and you guys are still sticking with this party that scammed you. You guys
I
are
mean,
victims.
nobody-
I mean, hold on.
I-
Let me give you another example.
I don't.
where they scammed you.
Hold on.
But-
Why-
Okay,
hold on.
okay,
I
I'm gonna
need to-
pop in,
I
I'm
need
gonna
to know
pop
what the
in.
fuck
Hey,
we're
wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait,
right
wait.
now.
Scammed are
Are
the
we
ones that are
talking about?
sending
Are we
Nobody
talking
has
about?
even
Are we
completed a
talking about? Are we
thought,
talking
let
about
alone
the
a
Biden?
sentence.
Okay, hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Just take it easy.
If Biden
Okay.
had to drop out, it obviously wasn't working.
You are a little quiet though. If you want to turn
I
up.
couldn't even slow it down. Okay.
I love how we just
Give me just a second. We're gonna break out. Okay, I want to hear Sansel versus Pentuple. Sansel versus Pentuple. You guys had a back and forth. Go ahead, finish that out for just a minute, and then we're gonna go ahead and
what I want to know. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to know is, we brought up, the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, several other bills Are we not going to talk about those at all? The accomplishments of the Biden administration, or do we want to like focus on a completely separate topic, which is Biden dropping out of the race?
Matter.
Well,
we can
it does matter because the topic of the fucking debate, the topic of the fucking debate is what are the successes and the failures of the Biden administration. So if you want to talk about the other thing, then like just admit that you don't want to talk about the actual topic.
Though. They're intrinsically connected.
Really not though.
They're not at all.
I can show you. Can I go? Can I go?
You already went.
No, this isn't Pepe Sylvia. I don't want you to look at your fucking points on a board. Like, actually stick to the point of the debate, which is talking about the accomplishments and the failures of the Biden presidency. Granted, Gibbs did send a link. It was a fucking Facebook video.
Well, I mean, it's a video from Sky News. It's a video from Sky News. I mean, I have the clip.
Exact same Sky News. The exact same Sky News that you want to quote stated that it is 2.3%. You're posting.
Did you watch the rest of it? Did you watch the rest of it? Or are you just going to stop at the part that's
news off of Facebook clips?
Well, I mean, listen. It's literally called a news source. I know you don't watch any clips of news ever. Otherwise, you would know that the administration was lying to you the whole time, bro. How about a clip from the Hill? How about a clip from the Hill?
All right, I'm gonna let you guys finish this out for 20 more seconds, and then we're gonna move on.
Gibbs, can you give us a different link? Gibbs,
I'll
can you
give
give
you
us a
all
link
sorts
that
of
gives us
hold on. I'll send you a literal video clip.
Non-Facebook link
from Sky News breaking it down. Here's
all right. Bring it back.
You just the same news as my 12-year-old cousin.
You actually want to talk about policy?
This is like Biden derangement syndrome.
Do you guys actually want policy from a conservative perspective?
Okay.
Do you guys actually want policy from a conservative perspective? Because this is the policy.
Yes, that's what we came here for.
Yeah,
so here it is.
All right.
Here it is. I'll lay it out in plain English for you. Okay. So what it is clearly is that the Biden administration is going to outspend Trump, and Trump outspend the previous 45 presidents before him. Or it's ridiculous how much this government is spending for no efficient purpose. The bureaucracy is broken and overspending like crazy. And this money that you guys are like, oh, this CHIP Act got passed. Oh, this act got passed. It is useless from the conservative perspective because you are overspending.
Because you guys don't care about facts. You guys don't care. Hold on.
If it was just in a
policy, talk about the policy.
The policy is overspending 100% because you're in a fucking bureaucracy that's fucking broken.
We're both Jesus, and I can be loud too. Talk about the goddamn policy.
All you've been is loud.
Policy is overspending. Can you not hear?
Guess what?
I need to yell for you to hear me because leftists don't actually understand anything else other than being yelled at. Because you guys all have a fucking daddy kid.
All right. 10 more seconds to this. 8.
Bless your heart, you sinner.
I want to say another thing. Y'all talk about facts, right? Here, I just posted another one. Y'all have been willing to sit here and like say the Republicans are lying. That's what I heard from several people just now. Well, all right. Y'all didn't have an issue with the lies coming out of the Biden administration when I heard all this talk about the jobs. Here, I posted a link since y'all didn't like a literal video clip. Since Facebook's for boomers. Wow, good one, bro. I know you get your news from TikTok. Cool story. But listen, I got to
hold on. Time. Everybody quiet.
I posted a link from the Hill, and it literally is talking about how the Biden administration misrepresented what jobs growth was. This is what's been happening every time. They'll say one thing, and then everybody's like, "Hey, what's this? That doesn't really make sense." And then it'll turn out later it's not what they said at all. They're like, "Oh, there's no crisis at the border. Massive crisis. Oh, we have so much job growth. The job growth doesn't match that. Oh, guess what? All these things are good. Prices at the economy at the grocery store, fantastic. Milk is $50. It's bullshit, and we all know it. And y'all have been lying to us the whole time. Biden don't got dementia. He looks like the Crypt Keeper. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is it? What is the truth? You tell me. You don't even know.
All right, hold on. I want to hear some responses to that from two people who haven't talked yet.
Take the nomination away from him. He's clearly not capable.
All right, let's get a response to that from Nina.
Okay, so really quick.
Hold up.
I just wanted to like ask you. I wanted to ask you, Hippy or Mr. Flower Crown Jesus. Sorry. So you said that this is all. Sorry, I'm not trying to. Like,
I'm calm down now. You're good.
Yeah. Okay, so you said this is all bureaucracy. You can't see like what all this money is going into. Here's like an example. When it comes to the infrastructure, huh?
It's like 80% administration, 20% work.
More than $400 billion in projects has been announced, covering 40,000 projects in more than 4,500 communities in all 50 states, plus the District of Columbia and Native American tribal areas. This guy that's talking about this has traveled to personally to 130 cities, towns, and communities impacted by the law, logging more than 110,000 miles. Do you think that all of this is just an administrative bloat, or do you think that maybe these things are actually getting built when it comes to the infrastructure plan? Let's just talk about the infrastructure plan. Let's like dial in onto one fucking
sure.
thing.
I think the valid critique from the conservative perspective is that we're overpaying for it, and if we did this through a marketplace, I'm not gonna say a marketplace of ideas because that's too vague. An actual marketplace.
Let the market.
Where everybody is, actually knows how to put their foot into the marketplace and give their opinion, saying, "Hey,
I would agree with you because I'm a capitalist.
I
would agree with you because I'm a capitalist.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: every single president of my entire lifetime, I'm almost 30 fucking years old. Since Bill Clinton, all of them have said that I want to help repair America's crumbling infrastructure. We have an infrastructure problem. I remember back in like 2008, we had a C+ rating average across the entire United States based off of our own infrastructure bureau. All right. The only one that was able to get it done was Biden. The free market didn't account for this because there are some places where it's just not market, like the market is not going to go in and fix a random fuck-ass bridge in the middle of rural fucking Arkansas, right? Because it's not going to benefit them in any way, right? But with with us putting in this money,
especially with how decentralized.
Well, if it did, then why didn't they do it? If it did, then why didn't like some private company come in and try and like secure funds to do that? Because
guess what? Me and you would probably agree that monopolies aren't that efficient, and they have the same inefficiencies as a big bureaucracy.
Do you think? Wait, hold on. Do you think that construction work has a monopoly? There's a monopoly like business in the United States that controls building out infrastructure?
No. See, I mentioned AWS. So I'm saying that the places that are using these like rural roads that you're talking about are the big companies. Like it's Google, it's Amazon that are using the rural roads to get to their rural customers, and they don't give a shit about the infrastructure. So we're saying government, like we should make them pay their fair share. It shouldn't be coming out of taxpayer dollars. It should be coming out of going after these companies that are pigeonholing and like
sure. If you want to talk about if you want to talk about like going after big companies, especially like big tech, then you should fucking love the Biden administration because
both of them have deep pockets inside of big tech. Both of them have
the Biden administration has just had the most successful. Hold on. The Biden administration. Wait, Mr. Flower Crown Jesus. The Biden administration has actually gone in and done massive antitrust lawsuits successfully against Apple, successfully against Google, and I think that they're pursuing several against.
Like I said, it's the Democrat administration under Biden, because like as we all say in the Republican side, he's not
it's the DOJ, right?
He's
investigating things, all right, at the instruction of the president. He set an agenda, like we want to go after companies that are doing this sort of
definitely
activity.
set by this Mr. President. Yep, totally. Yep.
Okay, I mean, like you can.
Can we not deal in fairy tales?
Wait, hold on.
I'll agree with you there.
Mr. Flower Crown Jesus, can I get you to admit that you literally can you admit that you literally have zero evidence that Jill is running the White House? Can you like give me? Can you like admit that you have zero evidence?
Why are you lied to constantly?
Yeah, use cameras, Rez. Yep.
Oh, sick.
You guys get lied to endlessly. And yet you're still like, how could you possibly believe that Jill Biden is in control? Like, are you kidding me? Seriously?
Your standards, if you're lied
You are. Like, we're the ones that are actually bringing up. Like, I brought up 5 policies that we could talk about and actually have a conversation about. But instead of doing that, Jesus here, this Jesus, not me, this one, is talking about how Jill Biden's taking the helm. This one is using Boomer News.
No clip is Boomer News. Good one. You got me, bro.
To talk about it, but he's still bringing us like Jill Biden's in charge. Let's talk about the actual policies that we came here to talk about, which are the accomplishments and the failures. Do you guys want to talk about the failures?
I would say
we're just going to talk about the fucking bullshit in the fields and he's all the
I'll give you that.
I'm telling you that you voted for a guy who fell apart before his first term even ended.
Let me give you.
I'm surprised he's still alive.
You're
Honestly,
mad
that's
at
a
us
huge
for telling you that your guy
Okay.
fucking was gonna
No,
fall
I'm mad
apart
at
and he
you for
did.
telling me bullshit because you're scared to talk about the actual
not
accomplishments.
bullshit.
endlessly.
All right. All right, we got too many responses.
I'm bringing up facts.
Too many.
I'm bringing up policies.
All right.
Where did the Chip Act start? Who started the Chip Act, by the way?
Literally everything you're saying has nothing to do with what I brought up. You're not making an argument.
You
Okay,
laid
hold
the
on.
groundwork for the Chip
You're
Act.
I literally laid the
You're a
foundation
victim.
that we could use to actually have a beneficial conversation, but fucking Trump's actual fucking dick sucker here won't stop fucking up
Oh,
and
here we go.
talking about but
Hold on. Do you
no,
think hold on?
he's
Yeah,
not
I was
lying anymore. Let's
responding
talk
to
about
you
shit.
getting frustrated at us for letting you know that you made a mistake.
No,
You should've
you're not
listened to
letting
us.
us know you're making a mistake. You're not talking
Jesus,
about
I
what we're
got a
here to
question for
talk
you.
about.
Hippy Jesus, I
The
got a
Biden administration's failure.
quick question
Look.
for you, Hippy Jesus. Do you
We're
think
talking about
I'm
who's
not-
running shit behind the
if it's
scenes because
about
he's so senile.
It's a policy
any of
question.
the accomplishments we talked about,
It's a
then
pol-
I
it's
will
a
answer
pol-
your question.
It is a policy question.
right.
We've talked about the economy, right? Do you think that homelessness is a economic indicator? Yes or no?
One of them. I don't think it's a leading
Okay,
one.
it's not the leading one, but it's definitely one, right? So here's the
Sure.
thing: the Democrats have prided themselves on being the party of helping the poor and indigent, like for years. I think we can all agree on that. That's been a mantra. Under Biden, it looks to me like, and I'll post the link here, that homelessness is at a
it a
15-year
Facebook
high.
video?
And no, it's not. It's from American Inequality. And I mean, that's cool. I know you keep dunking on that. It was literally a clip. I know you couldn't watch 2 seconds. Your attention span's not long.
Yeah, I don't understand what the deal was.
Just say your point. Instead of complaining. Just say
15
your point,
years,
please.
it's rising from
Debate.
12%
Giving us
from
a video
alone
link.
in the last year. In the last year, it's up 12% from last year alone, and it's a 15-year high under Biden. Would you say that has been an accomplishment of the Biden administration or a failure?
That would be one of his failures.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing: when we're looking at this, we're not looking at just one metric, right?
Mhm.
Would you agree?
Yeah, and all the metrics are bad. That's the thing.
Every single metric is bad?
Jobs report was lies. It was bad. If you go to inflation, inflation's terrible. Inflation's terrible.
Every jobs
Inflation
report.
has come
Homelessness is
down
one
significantly
day,
to the point where we're
800,000
at
jobs.
target inflation.
Posted the link for the jobs report in there, and it's not a Facebook link. You can go and read it, Papa. I got you. But listen, it's fine.
I read it,
All these
but it
things-
doesn't
It's a
say shit except for
Substack
there was
article.
less.
It says this was a lie. It was 840,
It
like
wasn't,
18
it
something
was
thousand. So if they say it's one number and it ends up being 800,000 less than the
Yeah,
number that
the data
what is
takes
a
place.
lie?
That's
That is a lie.
false,
Can you admit that's a
What
lie?
is the
guys do that
operative
literally
word? What is
every
the
jobs
operative
report,
word in
by the
the
way.
fucking link?
They do
It
that
said
literally every
estimates.
jobs
That
report.
is the.
Yeah, so it's a
that is
lie.
the-
Every jobs report's a lie.
It-
No,
Who gets
it's an estimate until the data is
Right.
validated.
Oh, right. An estimate.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
What it
oh,
actually
oh,
is.
oh, oh,
What it
Answer that.
actually is. It's drive-by media bullshit where they
Okay,
put out a
wait,
number
I actually have
initially.
a question. If all the times that Donald Trump got something wrong was just lies, will y'all admit that he's a fucking massive fucking liar
guys
because
do
he
it
gets
all
shit
the time.
wrong all the goddamn time?
He's a massive
hyperbolic liar who doesn't know how to rein in any of his actual hyperbolic statements into anything that's grounded in reality. But there is actually reality on both sides hyperbolic statements that you can piece
Sure,
out.
yeah.
and
See,
find.
holy fuck, Mr. Flower Crown Jesus is the most reasonable conservative here, even though like he came in
How
super
pretty
high.
conservative I gotta be, brother. I gotta be.
But like again, like, do you recognize that there's a difference between having an estimate, saying this is where I expect it to go, and then getting that wrong? Is that a lie?
Okay, so
Yes.
if it's an estimate every
Yes.
time, that's way
tell you
higher,
why.
and it's wrong every single time. That is
It hasn't been wrong
intentionally.
every
It
single
has
time.
been. It has been
We've
every
had
time.
strong
It's
numbers
literally
the
wrong every
entire
time.
time
It's
that Biden's
literally
been in
been. Listen,
office.
just because you're drinking the Kool-Aid doesn't mean that it's right. Listen, it has been wrong every time consistently. And then when I look at the other indicators, and this is why I brought up the homelessness thing. Homelessness is a 15-year high. That's the indicator is bad. Jobs report was an estimate that was supposed to be higher. It's way lower. If like you were a Fortune 500 company and your estimate is, hey, we're gonna hit 3.7% on whatever numbers, and then you come back at 2.8%, that devastates your stock, right? Why? Because guess what? The estimate may be one thing, and then if your quarter's worse, it destroys you. Same thing with the jobs report. They might have estimated high, hoping they could sell the bullshit to their investors, and which in this case, the investors are the American people, and then it comes out and it's way lower. Boom, failure, homelessness, jobs report, inflation. If I like everything is bad on the economy, housing just crashed.
What is
like literally this week?
inflation rate?
I mean, it's
what is the current
all
rate? What is the
bad.
current inflation rate?
I mean, but depends on which metric you want to go to. It's terrible.
Bad.
What do you wait? Hold on.
What
If I
metric
look
do you
up
think it's good on? What metric do you think inflation is good on?
rates,
Nobody can afford groceries. Nobody can
from
afford gas.
2024. I'm just going to look at this. Oh, look at that. So I see in 2020, leading into COVID, it was 1.4. In 2021, after COVID, it was 7%, which is really high because the target inflation rate is somewhere between, I think, 2.5 and 3.5, if I remember correctly. In 2022, the annual inflation rate was 6.5, so they started getting a handle on it pretty quickly. The next year, in 2023, the annual inflation rate was 3.4. This year, thus far,
do you understand
it
what
is
happens with that?
2.9.
Hold on. This is what's really funny about this. What happens each year? The inflation rate, it goes by the percentage higher from the last year, right? So we're talking from 2020. Each one of those numbers would be stacked.
What?
So guess what? We're at a way higher number than the little 2.3%.
No, that's not how percentages work.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a larger number of the percentage each time because you're going to take the inflation rate of the higher number from last year, and so we have a higher percentage from 2020 than we do before. I know math's not your strong suit, but let me up you out there. I got you.
Wait, can you repeat the
Are you arguing that everything's only up like 12
screen
cents
that
at
you
the
just
grocery
did?
store?
You literally said nothing the entire time you just spoke. Yes,
Let's take a split number. We'll explain this for you. I'll do that slowly.
No, you use a lot of words for not knowing how percentages work.
If it's $100, let's just use the number 100.
Do you think
if
that when we talk about reducing inflation, when we're talking about reducing inflation, we're talking about deflating our currency back down to where it was pre the high inflation rates?
That'd be the goal if you could do that. Yeah, that would be.
No, because deflation is a horrible
your
fucking
key
thing
word
for
was
your
if
economy.
we could do that. So
Well,
what
the idea of
he's
prices
trying to
coming
tell
down
you,
is
You really wouldn't want to do
he's
that.
trying to get you,
do that.
what he's trying to get you to say is that lowering the inflation rate is still a good thing, is it not?
Like lowering this, yeah, cool. It's good.
Lowering the inflation rate a good thing, Gibbs?
Bleeding out and you slow the bleeding. I guess that's good.
Isn't it like
Yeah, and
0%
guess
at some
what?
point?
Guess what?
I just need you to answer. Is lowering the inflation rate a good thing?
I mean, I guess drinking less fucking arsenic is good too. But like, hey, that's neither here nor there.
It's like
lowering the inflation rate.
speed in a car and the driver goes 90 in a residential and he's like, chill out, I slowed down to 70. We're still going 70 in a fucking residential, bro. Like, no, it's not okay. You come down
the
a little
economy
bit.
isn't a fucking residential road.
Yeah, that was
It's
a
a
dumb
dynamic
analogy.
process that we have to actually
but
have
there's-
experts look
there's-
at.
The speed limit
Your
represents a
personal
normal
finances are not
inflation
having-
rate.
It's
Get
not an
good
analogy.
inflation rate.
Lowering the
We're
inflation rate
still
a
pretty
good
far
thing?
beyond that.
Yes or no?
What?
I can't hear anyone.
Well, see, I was talking to fucking Admiral Stolen Valor Gibbs, and
I was
I'm
just
trying
jumping
to
in.
I'm trying to get them to answer the question of is just simple fucking question: is lowering the inflation rate a good thing? Yes or no?
Yes. Sure, yes.
Okay, so that is an accomplishment that it went from 7 to 2.3.
Well, no.
Yes or no?
Is it a good thing if I give you $20? If I stole 50 from you? Is it a good thing if I give you $20?
That it's not at all comparable.
I think it is.
I know
Well,
you
you're
think it is,
wrong.
but you're not doing a whole lot of thinking except for this
You're
fucking
saying,
like.
is it good that he brought down the inflation rate? He's the reason
Yes.
it went up there.
No,
No.
Then why is it up there?
No, of course.
because
Explain
there was a fucking pandemic and the whole fucking shit shut down for like a year.
And the inflation
That is
reduction
why
Act had nothing to do with
inflation-
any of the prices the last 2 years.
No, it's at the rate it increases. Inflation's always going to go up. That's how like our economy works.
Right.
Right, and if it
It's
happens under a Republican,
always
it's really
going to
bad. If
go
it happens
up.
under a
You
Democrat,
just said, isn't it good that it's come
I don't know
down?
what I'm bitching about.
What are you guys?
The
Republicans raising
rate's
inflation rate.
going down.
She just said it's never going to go down.
Yeah, it's never going to deflate.
Oh my God. It's always going to go up, but the rate at which it goes up has been lowered. So instead of going up, I don't know, 10% or whatever, it's now going up like 2%.
It's like,
the
okay,
rate what it is
if you want an analogy, it's like when
Sure.
the price of oil goes up and the gas prices go up, and they started off at a level, and then the price of oil comes down, and the price of gas comes down a little bit, but never to the level that it was originally, right? Because it continuously rises and doesn't ever have like fucking peak. There's peaks and valleys.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, we saw gas prices fluctuate. Prices do fluctuate up and down.
It doesn't have anything to do with who's president. The price
Biden
of oil
promised
doesn't
to
have
end the
anything
oil
to do with
industry.
We're
So
about
I'm
to
pretty
give our
sure
country
he has
to people who
something to
think
do
it
with
always
that.
goes up.
No, you wanted a dumb analogy to have something that was comparable, and pentuples was money between individual people, which doesn't have anything to do
answer,
with anything.
just answer
relatively
Jesus's question, because I know what his question was going to be. Is it back to what it was pre-pandemic? Was that going to be your question? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the rate.
It is back to at the highest rate of what it was during Trump's presidency.
Okay.
It was at 2 point. The highest.
Okay,
was
also, just to
2.7.
kind of preface this is where I was kind of like falling asleep there, is that Jesus the Druid, I might have a degree in STEM, but econ just makes me tired. So I kind of render onto Caesar's what is Caesar's payout for being captured by the pirates. So econ is a little, I could go over the numbers like and take a few days, but like this is a little like putting me to sleep.
The highest inflation it was during Trump's presidency was 2.7, and it is 2.9 now.
Yeah, that's a dunk. That's the biggest dunk for the Trump presidency I've ever heard, right there.
It
thank
rose
you. You're wel- thank you. I
substantially
appreciate it.
as soon as Trump started getting into office. It was like at 0.0. It was at 0.8, 0.7 under Obama, right? So
You listen to the argument you just made right there.
that Trump, the inflation rate increased. So, like,
So which one of y'all is correct? Here, you were a hippie over here.
I'm sorry, I can't hear when everybody's fucking screaming over each other, so I just stopped listening until there was
that's fair.
a moment that
I'll grant you that one.
okay. Like, I literally could not understand a single fucking thing that's happened for the past 5 minutes. Here's the thing, right? When Biden came into office, the groundwork for inflation rising was already set. If it was something that Biden did, you would expect to see inflation only happen in the United States, but it didn't. It happened all over the world. And in fact, because of Biden's policies, because of the things that his administration did, because of what the Fed did, after COVID, once Biden got into the office, we could see that the rate of inflation goes down. No, the money isn't going to magically regain the value that it lost in that time, because that's fucking lunacy. You don't want your currency to devalue. That would be like an actual death knell. That would be like, we're going into a depression. Everything is fucked. Oh shit, what are we going to do? Any amount of deflation like that means that we're either in a stagflation or we're in a like full-on depression. All right, so let's not like pretend like we're going to bring the money's value back. All right. Also, on that point, it wasn't directly Biden's fault. Now, are we going to sit here and pretend like adding more money into the system isn't going to increase the rate of inflation? No, that would be fucking stupid. But there's massive contention between the idea that Biden and all of his spending bills magically made this inflation rate this high, and all of the other countries in the entire fucking world having massive inflation. Even to this day, they're still lagging behind us in how much we've been able to lower our inflation rate. So unless you guys have something to argue against that.
I got a question for you, something. You do realize that inflation does devalue the currency, right? Like inflation does.
Yeah.
So you said in the beginning, because in the beginning you said we don't want to lower inflation because it's going to devalue.
No. Hold on. Let me like, if I said something along those lines, I misspoke. What I'm saying is we don't want the value of our currency to deflate like that.
we don't nobody wants to deflate, but as long as the inflation's going up, our currency value is deflating.
Going down.
If an apple costs
the inflation
$1
rate is going
and then
down.
the next year costs $2, do you have the same buying power as you did the year before, or no?
Nobody's arguing against that. We're saying that
I'm saying
the only thing that the government can do is try to bring the rate of inflation down. And it seems like, based on the graph that I'm looking at, if you really want, I can go ahead and just send you the link, but I don't know what you're arguing against. Yeah, nobody wants the value of our currency to start dropping in value.
Okay, I'm going to move this one on to Drone Tech has not. I feel like you keep wanting to respond. You keep getting cut out of it. Go ahead, Drone Tech.
Yeah, I had things I was going to respond to. I mean, they keep bringing up the CHIP Act, which I'll say that's probably the closest thing to an accomplishment, a real accomplishment Biden has. But it's not even fully Biden's, because it started, Trump laid the groundwork for that, for the CHIPS Act. And probably
was he able to get it done?
Well, no, but you could also say that COVID and the Democrats constant going after him and all that might have played into that. No, he's not the guy that finished it, but it's not like this is all Biden's accomplishment. That's all I'm saying. You guys keep pointing at, and I agree with that. I think the CHIPS Act is a necessity.
Actually, I can really quick.
And why is
let
it
me
not
just like say
Biden's
this.
accomplishment? Because he's being literally I forget what the reference is, but he's literally being puppeted. That's why it's not Biden's accomplishment.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence for that. And to what
Well, that is well.
like,
Because they won't
listen,
have any
wait, I want to agree with the conservatives. I want to
He
agree
came
with the
out and said,
conservatives.
"I'm not dropping out," and then 2 days later, oh, he's dropping out. I wonder who made that
Right,
decision.
yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Clearly not.
Look into your mind. What the fuck?
I gotta pull you out, Sanzel. All right. Sanzel got pulled. Someone else want to make a response? I'm sorry, Sanzel, you got pulled.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that if you really want to say that, it's like, I will full on agree with you on this if you agree with what I'm going to say. I agree that it is not all Biden's accomplishment and that Trump set the foundation. But that means that you have to agree that the Afghanistan pullout is not all Biden's failure. Trump laid the groundwork for that. Will you agree with that, Drone Tech?
No, I think that's completely. I think that's different.
Oh, thank you.
God, unreasonable.
Well, okay,
No,
I'll
it is
bite the
different
bullet on
because
that.
look, I'll explain why.
I hate the people who
I'll
are
explain
underneath
why.
Biden.
Look.
What?
You guys don't understand.
Drone Tech, did you freeze, or are you going to explain why?
Okay, so
Can you hear? Drone Tech, are you okay?
yeah.
I was clearing the floor for you to explain why. I thought you were going to explain why.
Okay, I can. Sondasol was talking. I couldn't. I was just hearing Sondasol talk.
Oh, can you hear him? I have him muted
Yeah.
on my end. I'm so sorry.
You have him.
Oh
you
yeah,
have
I
him
could hear.
muted
I
on
was
the
just waiting for him.
screen.
No, I would say as far as the same standard they're applying. In both cases, Trump didn't execute anything. Biden actually executed the exit from Afghanistan, and it was a complete botched failure. It was completely chaotic. Americans got killed. We left an arsenal for the Taliban, who then had a parade with all of our stuff, stuff that we've given to Ukraine. By the way, they have a lot of the same equipment that we left behind. And so, yeah, I don't think
Well,
it's
that
the
was
same
Trump's
thing.
plan.
Trump
so.
did. No. Even if you would say it's Trump's plan, how incompetent is Biden to use Trump's plan?
That's an amazing.
No, I'm saying if this is Trump's plan and Trump's plan was incompetent, listen what I'm saying. If this is Trump's plan,
He failed to.
what
and
evidence
Biden
do we have
failed to
that this was
execute
Trump's plan?
Yeah, but Biden may have not been able to execute Trump's plan, but guess what?
And I don't think,
Trump
and
did
also,
not
I
fucking
will concede that I don't
with
think that even if
Afghanistan,
Trump
only
was
the Taliban.
I don't think that even if Trump was in office, I don't think his plan would have been executed either, because
Right,
I
yeah.
believe, and there's a significant contingent of conservatives who believe that there's a significant portion of the government bureaucracy that works against Republicans whenever they are in office, especially when they don't conform to DOD and DOJ industrial complexes.
Right. Which
Even if
and
for the first
which
2 years,
actually-
Maybe the Republicans just can't negotiate.
And one last point. No, it's because you guys are literally like conveying like the other side as devils and demons for the past 30 years.
The Republicans, when Obama went into office, said that we're going to make him a one-term president, and then like openly fucking
I
obstructed
love how that's
every
still a
single fucking thing
controversy
they
with you
possibly
guys. I
did.
cannot believe
Well,
that.
if you're going to
You guys had like a majority actually in state Roe v. Wade, but we're not talking about Obama. We're talking about okay.
Do we forget that fucking Hillary Clinton, Biden and Obama being the Antichrist? Like, we can do this. Every single
and I would
side
keep Republicans
did
for
this.
that. Yes.
We can all say that both sides for the past 30 years have been very inflammatory, but for you to bring it up like the fucking Republicans haven't done fucking just as bad is just
You guys are
ridiculous.
supposed to be the Democratic Party, who are supposed to be enlightened and better than stooping to that
we're
low level.
supposed to be
Yeah,
better
guess
than
what? Republicans are supposed to be respectful
No.
drag-ons
That's
and
crap.
fucking Christians that aren't supposed to be hateful little bigots.
That's the Republicans.
But guess what?
The
Here we
Republicans
are.
aren't supposed
Okay.
to keep to their level.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good time for me to pop in. We're going to go into final statements. I'm sorry, there was a bit of a snafu. You guys can apparently hear yourselves talking, but don't worry. When I had you muted on my screen, you didn't make it through,
Nobody
so
heard
no one can hear you actually in the stream.
So it was just dead space.
I was actually dead. I was like, Drone Tech, this is your fucking
Sorry.
moment. So I will be server muting people going forward. I'm not going to use the Elgato thing anymore. It works for me, but not for you, unfortunately. So out of consideration for you guys, I'll be doing that going forward. We're going to continue into the final closing statements for this topic, which, despite how far off of it we got, was what are the greatest accomplishments and failures of the Biden presidency. You're going to get 1 to 2 minutes. Don't forget, if you waste your time or you want to respond to somebody after this into the next time, you can, but it is going to count against your time in the next opening statement. So we're going to start it off with final closing thoughts with Sansel.
Yeah, so I mean, this topic has been a clusterfuck, but the only reason it's been a clusterfuck is because Republicans seem, I mean, I'm not going to name names on who was the good ones and who was the bad ones here, all right, but it seems like they're completely unable to like argue on the specifics of the like data points or anything like that. Instead, it seems like we're much more mad about like, I don't know, Biden being old and Kamala being introduced into the race late into the campaign. So I guess that's where we're at.
Okay, moving on to Nina.
I absolutely agree. It does seem like you guys are just kind of butt mad about, I guess, Kamala, because there's a lot of hype behind her or something. It doesn't seem like you guys really care. I think it's very telling that you expect the Democrats to be better than the Republicans, which, let's be real, they are. But why don't you think about it on that? And like, why aren't you guys able to be good? Like, I don't understand why like this like petulance is coming from you. Like we're like we have to be the parents in the room here, and yeah, we are, and we will be, but like, why are you so fucking childish would be my question.
Okay, this is a final statement, so they actually can't respond to that.
Oh, it's a rhetorical statement. I didn't actually expect this answer, of course.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, are you done? Okay, we're going to be moving on to Media Wench.
Yeah. No arguments from the right can be made without first creating a straw man and then putting it next to the goalpost and then moving the goalpost and then setting the straw man on fire. So I think that yeah, I fully agree with the two people before me that there's just that there's there's just a rejection, an all-out rejection of facts, because all politics seem to be identity politics, and everything gets missed in that swamp. And that's unfortunate, because there are things that could be acknowledged that were very positive, that benefit everybody. And you know, just hate trumps over all of that. So that's all I got to say about all that.
Okay, moving on to Hippy Jesus.
Yeah, so my ending statement's going to be pretty short, because the Republicans on the other side have done nothing to refute any of the accomplishments that we brought forward. We have Pentuple, who is essentially just a Kamala Harris clone, with the laughing and the smiling and making everything into a joke. Druid Jesus was probably, as much as he turned red in the face like a mater, he was still one of the only ones who actually tried to talk about the policies that we brought forth. Drone Tech didn't really get a chance to talk because everyone was shouting over him. And Gibbs is just as fucking conspiratorial as my boomer uncle, bringing up Facebook videos as an argument instead of bringing up actual links like me and Sansel did. We are apparently the only adults in this goddamn call, and Gibbs is a petulant 12-year-old that just says nuh-uh.
Okay. Moving on to Druid Jesus. Save it.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way that you guys are on the internet right now and saying that the other sides are children. We are all on the internet. We are all petulant children. And if you guys can't recognize that, take some time to self-search, all right? We are bringing up Kamala because Nina, right? You yourself were saying that you begrudgingly voted for Biden. Why did you begrudgingly vote for Biden? Because the Dems aren't Democratic. They're more Republican in their choice of representative and leadership than even the Republicans are. That's some good stuff, honestly, right there. I can give you guys some props when you deserve it. But what it comes down to is that these policies that you guys are bringing up are the same things that Republicans critique Trump for. He passed over trillions and trillions of dollars in government spending. Real Republicans don't like that. Real conservatives don't like that. We don't like that when Republicans do it in the guise of international security or national security. We don't like it when Democrats do it in the guise of infrastructure that could be done much better if we sat down at the table and stopped being petulant children on the international and national levels.
Okay. And moving on to Admiral Gibbs.
Yeah, first I want to thank Hippy Jesus for proving my meme that I always make about dishonest Dems. I actually posted one Facebook clip and then 2 links to sources, and then that's more than him and Sansel combined. So
Check the logs.
he's just outright lying. We can post a screenshot. We can show it. I don't give a shit. Also, it's pretty impressive that my cat Garfield here understands more about logic, economics, and foreign policy than any of the Democrats here. I'm real proud of him. Maybe learn to read.
Yeah.
Okay, was that it? Okay.
That's it.
Is that me?
All right. Thank you. Moving on to Pentuple TV.
Yeah. So we spent this whole time pretty much talking about like inflation rates and stuff, and I think that you can just peruse Google all you want, get all those numbers, but people see their prices at the grocery store going up every day. They see the price of gas. They see the energy policies that this administration has are definitely going to affect gas car drivers. They've let in 12 million illegals. They're promising a pathway to citizenship, which is only encouraging more and more people to come. It's worsening the problem. They've done the same thing with student loans by promising to forgive them. Now people aren't paying back their loans. Less than 25% of people are actively paying more than their minimum payment right now. The economy sucks. Immigration sucks. This administration's done nothing. You can peruse Google all you want. The real world's out here.
Okay. And last but not least, Drone Tech, with your final statement for the segment.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Joe Biden's regime has been very mediocre at best. The accomplishments that his supporters point to are all very boilerplate kind of stuff that just happens as new administrations come in. The infrastructure stuff remains to be seen if that money spent will be a benefit or if it will just be wasted money. I guess we'll find out, or maybe we won't, because the media isn't great about following up to hold Democrats accountable. So more likely you just will never hear about it again, unless it does something good, then you'll hear about it. But Biden's failures are many. He's divided the country when he said he'd be a uniter. He called half the country semi-fascists. He bragged about how many J6 protesters have been put in prison and how much prison time they have, which was particularly evil to me, considering that it was only around 300 people there that were violent. The rest were, peaceful or on the grounds, but the Biden regime came after them like they were terrorists. And this was after 4 years of Democrat rioting where Democrat DAs dropped charges. He discredited the free press even more because they had to debase themselves and gaslight and lie to the country to get these people to think that there's any accomplishments. And now they're kicking him to the curb, which is even funnier, right? They lied all these years about how great it was, and now they're kicking him out for somebody they said up to this point was awful, and that was so hated across the country. And it just shows you how the media can literally program these people on a dime. Yeah, and I think he's made the country look more like the CCP and Russia. I think these people sound like these interviews I see with Russian citizens when people interview them about what's going on, and they just are completely brainwashed. And and I missed something here. Just the weaponization of our systems that Biden has done. Yeah, he's weaponized our systems, and if Republicans get the power to do what Biden and Democrats have done, as far as attempting to imprison Trump before an election, suddenly they're going to see the light and see how bad it is.
Okay, thank you very much, Drone Tech, for the last one. Sorry to everybody. I caused some minor snafus during the first segment. I thought I was muting everybody. I was actually just muting my ability to hear them. So don't worry, you didn't get through to the actual audience that I have, but you got through to yours, and you just completely still talked over everybody else. So my apologies. From now on, we're going to be going into server mutes. I will be muting. You will feel yourself being muted more in this upcoming segment. More than likely, Admiral Gibbs, Sansel, you guys are dominating conversations. It's a term of respect that I'm going to be muting you probably a little bit more often, just because you're so dominating. You're so overpowering, okay? It's out of respect for you. But we're going to be moving into our second topic. This one's supposed to be a little bit more chill, which means more than likely it's going to be the one that you guys rip each other's fucking heads off over. Is the use of generative AI moral or ethical? Is the use of generative AI moral or ethical? We're going to be starting with our opening statements with Sansel. You guys can use some of your 2 minutes to respond to stuff from the previous section. However, that is going to be your 2 minutes, and I will move on hard to the next individual afterwards. So, starting with Sansel, please take it away.
I think the AI is a tool that is both amazing and scary. I think that Is it moral to use it? I think yes, but there are ways that you can use it immorally, like making deep fakes of random like women to jerk off to them, and then they see that. That's probably not a super great feeling. Also, the idea that we could use it for disinformation campaigns to trick people about political topics is really scary. But I am going to be honest on this one, guys. I could be pushed either way. It just depends on what kinds of safeguards that we put up, and we definitely do need to put up some kind of safeguard for it.
Okay, moving on to Nina.
I would definitely agree with the safeguards. I think that we talk about morally when it comes to using AI. I think one of the big factors of that is like AI art. And one of my issues is that it obviously pulls like from actual artists that make stuff, and none of them are credited. I think there is a way that we can do that, because it's cool, you know, to just have something generate an image. Like one of my pictures is a picture of me that I got from a bunch of different like AI things. But the big problem where it comes to morality is like, are we giving people credit for what is being pulled from? And that's like a big point. When I think about AI art, is about the morality of like, basically, are we stealing, or are we like, as you would a normal thing, being inspired by? And if that's the case, like, should that be, you know, because obviously if it's able to steal the artistic elements from a particular artist, they obviously know where it's coming from, so it could easily be sourced if you think about that. And I think that's a big aspect for me that I think is important to talk about when it comes to like AI stuff.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Nina. Moving on to Media Wench.
Yeah, I'm probably with Sansa on this one. I could probably be pushed either way, whether or not the safeguards that should be put in place will ever be put in place. To go to Nina's point, is where artists are getting credit for things that are getting pulled from the internet and pulled in. I don't use AI a whole lot. I am an artist, so most of my stuff is physical, and I don't really mess with like computer art much. But the ease of which people can manipulate things and create misinformation and disinformation campaigns with the technology, I think that's probably in the future one of the things that we're going to have to take harder looks at as more information is available faster and in more mediums. So yeah, I would have to just say that it's probably, yeah, it definitely moral ways to use it. Absolutely immoral ways to use it. There's certainly ethical ways that you could use it, source things for yourself. It's already been proven that there are tremendous unethical ways to use it. So I would be a big fan of, yeah, lots of safeguards be putting into place so that just people aren't tricked by something that's fucking fake. It causes lots of problems when people are fooled and can't admit it.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Media Wench. Moving on to Hippy Jesus.
I think any outcry and outrage about generative AI, I'm sorry, AI is ridiculous. It's baseless, and it really is just like a feelings contest about what can we be offended by today. I saw during like the commercials for the movie Late Night with the Devil, a lot of comment sections were boycotting it because of 2 AI images that were made. AI is just a tool that is used in media, and it's nothing more. It is a moral neutral until proven otherwise.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to Druid Jesus.
Yeah, and there might be actually quite a lot of agreement here. Like, AI is a tool. That's the exact thing that I have written down, and a tool is only as ethical as its user. And that goes into a conservative's idea behind 2A, where I have the right to defend myself. I have the right to use my God or artificial created clause, so to speak. And when we come into AI, we absolutely have to have a conversation behind stealing versus appropriating versus art as a muse, a source of a muse. We also need to have a conversation about how these works should be as transparent and open as possible, especially when there's not significant trade secrets that are being exposed, and obviously we need to punish the stuff that's already bad, like impersonating someone or harassing someone along those lines. But I think that like also the scary thing behind AI is that people don't understand that they're just large language models. They're able to synthesize a lot of information at this point, where we look at a test for AI actually gaining some kind of human capability of reasoning beyond the given facts. Bless you. And so what this test could be is that we give it all the information of a flat earther, and then if the AI and the large language model can actually logic its way through, oh, this is actually wrong information, and I need to actually denote that this information that I thought was right is actually wrong, would be the first step. And as soon as that step is done, I think politicians and like should legislate actually that step would need to be immediately given and told to. I'm a military brat, so like my immediate
15
impulse
seconds.
is to give it to DoD or the executive board, because that would be really scary if AI and large language models can do a novel tech.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Moving on from, I lost track of everybody. Moving on from Chew and Jesus to Admiral Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the prompt said generative AI. So yeah, I mean, not AI as a whole, but I mean, I don't really care if we expand to either one. But I'll say this. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tool. I think that's been mentioned a few times. I think there's some interesting uses for it that are like good things. Even in the creative realm, where like they do use former images of people. And really the example that comes to mind as a Star Wars nerd is Peter Cushing, that the actor that played Tarkin. He signed his rights over to Lucasfilm, and he was a huge fan of Star Wars and wanted to be in more films, but unfortunately he died. And the idea that they can use generative AI to bring him back, him and his huge family are a massive fan of this. And like we saw the early ones in Rogue One where it looked janky and weird, but now it's getting better and better. I'm looking forward to maybe an AI generated Tarkin sometime in the future. You know, we'll see if Disney does that right. That's a whole different debate. But I will say I think that you know, Hippy Jesus here, the other Jesus over here, put a proper spin on this with the 2A thing. I left my generative AI running on the porch, and it didn't make any new pictures. So I'm real impressed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Admiral Gibbs. Moving on to Pentuple TV.
So I have the same basic take. It's a tool. Like, if you use a knife to stab someone, that's unethical. If you use a knife for its intended purpose, then it's fine. Nina had me thinking when she said that she thinks that you could tell where the AI is sourcing stuff from. I don't know that that's true. And I actually think that one of the best uses of generative AI is going to be content creators like us who aren't musicians necessarily, who want to use stuff like background music or other sort of basically any sort of music that we don't have that talent, we don't have that ability, we don't have the time or whatever. We can now use background music without it getting claimed by these artists who own copyright. I think its best use is going to be like if these artists don't want us to use their music on our stream, they're going to claim all of our work for doing that. I think it's absolutely moral and ethical to use AI to fill that void for the content space, because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you upload a video on YouTube with 15 seconds of a song, it's gone, it's over. So I think it makes sense to use it. I think that assuming what Nina said isn't true, that I think the AI, especially as the data pool grows, it's not necessarily picking from like one person that you can credit. And also I think what its purpose is going to serve is that it's going to be music that isn't copyrighted, that isn't owned, that doesn't exist anywhere, but allows people to use music in ways that we weren't able to before. So that's sort of my spin on it.
Okay, and that's moving right into Drone Tech with the final statement on the matter.
Yeah, I think we probably mostly all agree on this. So I agree with everything everybody else said. I also agree that it's an amazing tool for your average person to be able to compete with more talented, more people, people with more money. It's just like YouTube kind of was. It gives an entry level ability for your average person to compete with everybody else, which I like. I definitely see that there's plenty of evil that can be done with it. One of my all-time favorite 80s dystopian movies, The Running Man, is all about that. It's all about this oppressive government and corporations lying to the public by making essentially these AI-generated deepfakes kind of thing. This is before AI, obviously, it was in the 80s. But I would say the biggest threat that we really face from it now, we already have a media that's willing to lie to us right to our faces every day. And if they get that power, and I'm just talking about the people who are dominant, control our institutions right now, I think that they could be very dangerous with that technology. And I think that people who believe that pretty much any action that they take is justified to save our democracy or whatever, I think they'd be willing to do that. And so, yeah, it's an amazing technology. I love technology. I love anything new coming around like this. But it, just like anything else, nuclear power has the potential to power everything cleanly, or it has the potential to completely destroy all life and ruin the planet. So just how we use it.
Okay, cool. And that brings us into open topics of conversation, guys. If you want to add anything, go for it.
So I'm going to actually start off with some friendly fire here, Pentuple. I got an answer for you, is that these LLMs and these AIs will and can reproduce if you do enough effort into it. They will reproduce like text and practice material that they trained on. And it's actually like seriously a matter of like, are they reproducing Van Gogh's Starry Night, who's dead for 200 years, or are they reproducing a modern artist who's still making money off of their art? So that's where it really comes down to. And
if I generate a song with AI, well, let me respond to this real quick. If I generate a song with AI, and you're saying, okay, we can identify the AI pulled from these 100 sources, right? Like, okay, it took some, the voice sound from this song and this from that. Do all of those inputs need to be credited?
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about when I said that earlier.
The transparency behind it needs to be transparent.
I agree. That's exactly what I was saying, because obviously they're pulling from those sources, which means you have those sources, which means it should be transparent. Exactly. What Georgie said.
Just like an essay or like a research paper has to credit wherever it's getting that research from. Where if it's doing like a novel process and petri dishing construction, you have to reference the 1800 paper on Petri construction. So yeah, and it should be even easier for us to require like, hey, this is looking fishy.
What about
we want a discovery on what your background is? So, and because maybe there are some trade secrets, and maybe there's even like proprietary things that it's learning off of that the company owns, where it's like, we hired these 5 people to do very classical music for us, and we're gonna train an AI off of that. So there's a lot of very like conflicting, complex things to this.
So, for example, I just started learning to play guitar. I can only play like simple chords, but a lot of songs, way more than I thought, have almost the exact same chord progression. It's like the same 4. It's just like maybe slightly different strumming and stuff. How do you know who to credit when you have songs that are even going to be providing very similar data? I mean, I don't know that I necessarily buy that like the data is clearly attributable to like a single source for every little bit of it. I don't think that coding exists, but I could be wrong. I'm not that familiar with AI.
How did it pull it though? I'm going to help out Pentuple.
Well, so I use Suno AI, for example. So like however Suno works,
I want to ask a question.
How does regular music work? Don't people pull from other sources?
Yeah, that's what I asked the question.
That's a good point, John Tech. That's a great point.
Yeah, really quick. I want to steel man him. I want to steel man him. What is the difference between the generative AI training itself on 1 million Van Gogh paintings, right? And someone who trains their entire life to recreate the same exact like color palette style, the exact same art style of Van Gogh, and makes those paintings digitally? What's the difference between those two things?
Well, that's where I was going to go with this question I'm going to ask, right? So let me say this, right? So like, what is the thing they always say? There's like 6 stories that have ever been told, right, throughout history. Like, are we going to start going after like George Lucas for making Star Wars and saying, oh, you stole from Ronin, this 47 Ronin, you stole from Oedipus Rex, you stole from, all the Shakespearean plays, like you stole from. This is bad, this is evil. Because I mean, what is Star Wars but a hodgepodge of all these things?
Well, I think you're looking at it the wrong way. We're not talking about going after anyone. We're just talking about crediting, like the same way that you would in an interview or whatever.
To be honest, even if I agreed with you on crediting, there's no way we're going to do that. There's like, I don't see that as being
you can
feasible.
Because you can see what the AI pulls from.
Yeah.
Where's Dr. Dre?
You can't do that with a person. I understand you cannot do that with a person.
Previous AI generations, though, like the AI pool of data.
Yeah, so you can. It's like the fucking blockchain type shit. You can look at the chain of what it's pulling from.
Lucas didn't credit any of his stuff in his
films.
Know.
Because he's a person. He's not an AI.
Shakespeare didn't credit anything.
Because
I just don't see why I generate a song that's like its own unique, like randomly generated song that doesn't exist anywhere. and some like 100,000 artists across the world can get credit. I can't use it anymore. I think that the use of
Nobody's
generative
saying
AI
that
is
you
to create
can't
a new.
use it.
Do you think that there should be copyright strikes on it if I use it and it's
I would not.
attributed to all
No,
these other
not like a
artists?
copyright strike. Like if it just takes elements, no, that would be silly.
So how do you think they should be credited? What does that
Well,
mean?
that's an
to you? Just
interesting
like,
question. I mean, I think maybe
Can I bring up something else that's kind of
in the
similar?
metadata at least.
one thing, like right now,
heard
if
of-
we
Yeah,
post a
hold
music
on,
video
hold on,
and
hold on.
there's music in it, it
Drone
gets struck
tech,
down
go
and that
for
money
it.
goes to the artist.
Yeah, real quick. Something that's similar to this is something called chip music. Are you guys familiar with that? It's
music or
yeah, it's
Chip
called
or
chip
shit?
tunes.
oh yeah,
chip tune.
tunes. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, chip tunes. Yeah.
So they're
I thought it was
they're
chip music
created
too.
through
Wasn't-
software, and you got a lot of so like all that like old 8-bit music, 16-bit music, all that stuff. You can from video games from that Nintendo put out. You can use all that stuff. It's not copyrightable, and yet that was created by somebody, but because of the method that they use to create it, is my understanding that they can't copyright it. And so that music, anything created on these chips
No.
cannot be, it can't be copyrighted. Although I'll take that back because I know that there's people now who make modern chip music who I'm pretty sure they do copyright it, but something about the music they created back then that's not copyrighted.
I'm almost certain that there's like Koji Kondo, the guy that wrote like 90% of the music for most Nintendo stuff. I'm pretty sure that like his music is copyrighted. Like the melodies are going to be the copyrightable bit. I'm not sure exactly how copyright law applies to like the finished product or anything. But in terms of why we don't get dinged for it on YouTube, I think is because so many people put up gameplay videos, and so there might be like something like that.
There's something to do with how it's produced too. I'll look it up, but yeah.
Well,
Also,
I mean,
has something to do with how it's
reproduced.
reproduced as well.
Well, they actually, some of the companies have dinged people recently for posting game clips. They said this is copyright, and they've dinged people recently. I saw that on YouTube. And yeah, that's bullshit, but whatever. I have one more question about this. Is like, this is kind of one of my issues with the generative AI. Is like, what's the line, right? Say like I took like, I don't know, let's do anime, like One Piece, right? And I made my own original, totally unrelated to One Piece, but I used a nearly identical art style. Clearly, it's my influence. Should I get like hunted down because I didn't credit Oda with, oh, you drew things a certain way, so I made my own new story? And
No,
then drew
you're
it
a
similar.
person. That's what the conversation's about AI.
Right.
It's not a person having like it in their head,
I'm a
making
person
their
putting
adding
the
their own
idea there to make
creativity to it. It's, I mean, to an extent, AI is stealing a bit.
How?
But it's completely different if you're being influenced as an individual. You know, like as a person.
What is the difference? Like, what is the difference on the actual substantive level, right? So, like,
The difference
if
is
I
because-
draw it versus I like tell the AI to do
Because
what I
the
want it
AI
to
is
do.
not going to add your own creative flair to it because you're a human being
what
and the
if I
AI
tell
is a
it to?
computer.
Yeah, if I tell it
Garbage
I
in,
want this,
garbage
but
out.
this slight difference, what's like the difference?
That's why garbage in, garbage out. So you could train an AI off of yourself, right? Garbage in, garbage out is what they say in software dev. When it's because a software isn't going to just, like you said, Admiral, is you're just gonna leave my software of my AI on the couch or out in the backyard.
that's my
It's not
point.
gonna make a picture because garbage in, garbage out, or whatever the human input is, you're gonna get an output based on the human input. But it comes down to the fact that the AI has a huge matrix behind it that is actually almost incomprehensible to even the people who are writing it and the people in these spheres, that we kind of basically assume, or we say that this AI is more or less, because of how sophisticated it is, it's able to have those the training systems almost embedded into it like a copy, and it's not
So you're saying it's a skill
using
issue.
like you
You're saying
would
it's a
like
skill
you
issue.
would. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
it's
it
a
sounds
skill
like.
issue.
So, okay,
it's a
that's
skill
my
issue
point.
for the robot, and this goes back to what I was saying, which is we need to see if an AI that we've developed so far can actually create a novel material. Because once it can say that, oh, the Earth
Well,
is
hold
actually
on.
round, and
Hold
I've
on.
got all this information of the Earth.
No,
flat.
Papa. No,
And
no,
once
no.
it can make a novel material, that's the case.
Let's
but it
use
has
your own
not made a
example.
novel
Hold on,
material.
let's
yet.
use
It's
your
only
own example.
synthesized.
Hold
This
on,
is
hold
only
on.
synthesizing. It's only
Jesus,
synthesizing.
let's use your own example. Use 2A earlier, and I use 2A, and we both agree. All right,
Yeah.
Christopher Kyle, greatest American sniper in the world. Let's give me
Okay.
both the same gun. He can make a 1.5 mile long shot. I can make maybe, I don't know, 200 yards, 300
We're
yards.
talking
Who
about
knows?
art.
Right, we are, right?
This is a good example. No, I
This is
think
a
I
good
see where he's
example.
going.
So this
Let
is where
him
I'm going,
cook.
right? So yeah,
Let him
if I
cook.
go-
I need to hear this.
if I go in there and I have the skill to type in there and go, hey, I want them to recreate Oda, but with this slight variation that's my own personal flair. I have the skill to go type it out and do that, and the AI does it for me, versus I have the skill also to paint it, and I just save myself thousands of man hours to paint it, and then, I might type it in the AI, and the AI do it for me. You know what it sounds to me whenever y'all are bitching about this? A lot of bitching, a lot of weeping, and gnashing of teeth, and pussitis. And maybe we should just get good.
Wait,
It
where's
goes down to the
the
Olympic
Chris
thing, though,
Kyle
right?
part? I wanted to hear why were we talking about
It's the same thing. Well, it's the same thing. If I go in there, I'm like, if I go shoot, I'm not gonna go, oh my god, it's so unfair that Chris Kyle is just naturally more gifted and can shoot 2 miles down the road. Like, so it's just because he's using a tool, right? You just said it's a tool. We're both using the same tool. Everybody can
So
use
this
the tool.
goes to
Equal
the
playing
Olympic
field.
example. Exactly.
Oh.
If you look at the shooters who we've been memeing about, the top shooter and the silver and gold in the Olympics, there's literally like all these gadgets that like the gold and the bronze had, but the guy from Turkey was just bare bones in it. Like that's the Picasso that's just got the paint and the easel, and he's developed the skills to just bare bones it. Whereas some people need some AI, maybe they need a little bit of Adobe, maybe
And
they
they're all in
need
the Olympics,
some-
aren't they?
Maybe they need like 3 years of training, and they can all get to the Olympics and get to that Olympic level of shooting, but they're all using different tools to get there and different skill sets to
That's
get there.
my whole point right there.
And
Like,
it's up to the general public to determine whether or not those skills, like steroids, are too much. Which I kind of believe that we should have steroids Olympics and a nothing Olympics, but that's besides the point.
I mean,
where
if
we can
you go
actually
down the
like
route you're saying, you're gonna start going after every cover band ever that's made their own original song. Like, all right, I'll give you one that's not even an original cover band.
Cover
If-
bands
like
can't
Greta
make
Van
original.
Fleet.
They're
Greta Van
covering
Fleet
the songs.
sounds
Literally
identical.
by
Their singer
definition.
sounds identical.
due to the fact that
Van
it is a
Halen.
cover,
He
you
sounds
can easily
forget
find
cover
on the
band.
internet
Forget the cover
or
band.
by
Look at Greta
research.
Van Fleet. No, look at Greta Van Fleet. Their lead singer sounds identical octavely to fucking what's his name, Eddie Van Halen. Like it's Zeppelin. There you go. I knew it was one of the
Zeppelin,
others. I haven't listened to music. It's Zeppelin. Are you gonna go after him now and say no more music for you, Papa? You sound too much like this whole fucker.
No, because those are giving the proper flowers to the people who are their
He just says
muse.
I'm a badass. I don't think I once heard him say. In fact, he gets annoyed when people say it sounds like Zeppelin.
Well, I
Even
don't
though
know.
all the
I mean,
songs
if
are
somebody
exactly the
said
same.
that it was their song, though, like
It is their song.
What you're saying, like no, like they wrote and
But it's
composed
identical.
that song. If they said to claim that, then that you would think that would be ridiculous, right?
I mean,
The,
I
the
would say
government
prove in
claimed
court, or
that
else
they
quit
made
your
up
bitching.
that song.
I would just say quit crying.
All right, we got 2 minutes until we start
that'd be
final
a weird thing
statements.
to say.
Everybody, get in here and get this shit popping.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
completely
I loved it
wrong
when
about
Greta Van
the
Fleet
chip tunes,
covered
by the
the
way.
great Led Zeppelin song "Jump." Yeah, loved that.
Oh wait, I missed that.
So, Drunk
Greta Van
Tech, you were
Fleet
saying
does smell
that.
like Led Zeppelin, though. Does anybody disagree? Does anyone like
I
disagree?
love
with
I
her?
love
Like,
Zepp, so I mean, yeah.
oh my
Like Greta.
like it's like disgusting
Greta's good.
copying. It's like
Yeah, it's, and he doesn't give credit to him at all.
But it's like, man, dude.
He's like, he even says this. He even says it's my own thing. And then you
God,
listen
it's
to him, and you're like,
fucking
holy God, he's risen from the grave. I don't even think he's dead, but it's like he's over here like singing identical. Like it's literally he's saying the exact like.
Well,
Bro,
to be
even
fair-
even the writing style is the same. And like he's like, no, I don't even know who Zeppelin is.
Yeah,
and I'm
well,
like,
to be
I'm
fair,
sure
Zeppelin
Zeppelin being
did
a
steal
dick.
like a
Like,
ton
you're
of
gonna
black
call that
people
guy out
out
for being a
music
dick.
and then didn't credit them
Oh my
whatsoever.
God.
So
Okay.
maybe it's just their comeuppance. I don't know.
I think that's a good
I
point.
mean-
That's a good point. We're gonna move into final statements on this one. That is the funniest fucking 20 minutes. Thank you all for letting me be a part of that. Fuck, that's awesome.
I wanted to swoop in at the tail end and make Tyler laugh.
Okay. Really short final statements on this one. A minute tops, okay? We're going to cook through them, then we're going to get into the final arguments. Starting with Sansol, final statements on is generative AI moral or ethical?
I think that the conversation is interesting. It's just that it goes into so many different layers of legal stuff and moral stuff that I just don't know enough about to like make a strong determination. The interesting questions around AI to me have to do with its effects on people's perception of reality and things like that. So in terms of like this topic, I'm mostly just listening. All right, I'm sitting down, shutting up, and listening. All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Nina, with your 1 minute, kick it off.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I actually really enjoyed this conversation. I think there's a lot of interesting questions about it, which are, very like Star Trek-esque, where because you're talking about, the ethics, and I think it's really interesting that we all have no matter our backgrounds here, we do have a very interesting perspective with what we take from and benefits of, and I do agree with the aspect of it just being a tool at the end of the day, and how we use it is the important part.
Okay, thank you very much. Media Wench, you are up next.
I think that Pentuple brought up an interesting point about music. I think that definitely we should give credit where credit is due when it comes to people who create music. We do that, and we hold all musicians who create music for profit and put that out there to a standard where they need to credit people's whose samples they take from and things that they take from other songs or whatever. And if you need music for your stream, man, then go and hit up some local bands around your area and ask if they can you can use their music.
Hell no.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hippy Jesus, on to you.
Yeah, I really didn't have a dog in this race. I just really wanted to watch and see what everybody said and then say something, at least one thing. I thought it was really funny that the one Republican who kind of knew something about AI was getting dogpiled by 3 Republicans who knew nothing about AI. I thought that was really fucking hilarious.
True.
That's too many Republicans.
Okay. Moving on to Druid Jesus. Thank you. Please take it away.
So yeah, I mean, basically going to what Tonsdal says basically sums it up is that there's so many layers and it's a huge, just giant onion that has like tracks through it like a dessert, like with like bunnies and yeah, it's ridiculous. There's so much legal and tech stuff that just doesn't. That's just so complex. Yeah, the effect it has on people's perception of reality needs to basically be talked about and understood. It's only a tool, and a tool is only as ethical as its user. We should punish the things that we all already kind of have on the books to be punished, and maybe if there's unique crimes that come over this, we can punish those as well. But yeah, we'll just see if it actually can come up with information by itself. And until that happens, I'm not too scared about it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Admiral Gibbs, your statement.
Yeah, so I actually came into this pretty neutral, but I think over the course of this conversation, I have actually moved positions further on one way or the other here, and it does bring up a lot of interesting questions about copyright, intellectual property. As an avid hedonist, if I decided to join some women's OnlyFans and my peen looks exactly like Johnny Sins, and I smash in the exact same position and use different outfits, are they going to be able to start coming after me now because I'm doing the exact same thing? It's pretty fucking terrifying. I don't know. I think it's just like the gun is a tool and the AI is a tool, my dick is a tool. I'm pretty terrified they're going to come after me for using my tool. Sad times all around.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that statement. And moving on now to Pentuple TV.
So I guess this comes down to our understanding of how AI works. I don't know how it works, but what you guys are saying, it sounds like you're suggesting that it takes a random data points and then gives you those just straight up. Where when I have used this to generate music, I don't see that. You'd have to be giving credit to people for this A minor chord and then this C chord. I just don't see it as being reasonable or feasible to give credit to people when it is generating something that is unique. It isn't just giving a random song from its data point and giving you that song. It's trying to create something that appears to be the same, that is actually novel and unique. So unless I'm wrong about that, which I guess I could be, I don't know much about AI. I don't know how it's generated. When the way I use it, it seems like it's generating something that's completely new. If you don't find it somewhere else, not just giving you someone's song from
10
the data
seconds.
Point. So yeah, I think that the use of generative AI is awesome, especially for us content creators who want to have something like background music while we're talking on stream. As simple as that, without stepping on the toes of those who did work and create art.
Moving on to Drone Tech with your final statement. 1 minute.
Yeah, what I was talking about earlier with the chiptunes, Pentuple just kind of hit on that way. He's talking about copywriting the tones or whatever, and that's what I was thinking. But I was actually completely wrong on that. It is copyrightable, so hopefully Nintendo never sees my channel or knows of it. But my stance on this is basically it's a technology that's coming regardless of how we feel about it. I doubt moral or ethics will factor into it a whole lot because money will probably be what really drives it. and innovation and whatever comes from that. And I like the Star Trek analogy there that was just made. I think there actually is an episode that deals with it with data, but yeah, I basically think regardless of how we feel about it, is coming. So get ready for it, learn it. I would say learn how to use it. And if you know how to use it, it's going to be a powerful tool for you. People who don't are going to be left behind.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do you know that? You know that?
You son of a
That little
bitch.
jingle?
Oh, hey, what's up,
Hello,
Dylan?
You've heard of that before?
What's up, buddy?
Hello. You know,
Long time no see.
I heard there was a little show going on, and that was being co-hosted by Westside Tyler and a lot of my old friends and some new friends of the show. And I just wanted to stop by and thank you guys for coming to. I mean, this isn't the relaunch of the Hippy Dippy, but this is the relaunch of the Recruitment show, which we ran for about 2 years. We brought a bunch of new people in the Twitch space, old people in the Twitch space on it, and I'm happy to see you all. Okay, I'm not gonna stay too long. You guys have a panel to finish. Thank you all for coming on. I wish you all nothing but the best, and have fun with the final topic. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last segment of Hippy Dippy Recruitment here on this Sunday, the 25th. We're going to be getting into our final subject of the night, possibly one of the most heated. Whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? One more time, that's whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? We're going to give everybody 2 minutes to introduce their point on this, and then we are going to go opening it up to the pit. I'm going to be a little bit more heavy on the muting this time. If you guys get cut off mid-sentence, hey, it's probably because you've just been talking long enough that we all just really have internalized what you had to say. So with all that said, we're going to be popping off with the same order we've been going in before with Sansol. Please, Sansol, take it away.
So if we're going to solve any kind of crisis at the border, we have to figure out what the crisis is. It's not just the massive amount of people; it's also how we deal with those people once they get here, or how they're trying to apply for citizenship or asylum once they get here. Putting up Title 42 or erecting a physical border wall. We can do all of these things, but it seems like, because we still have the law in place for asylum seeking, you get onto American soil and say, I'm claiming asylum. At that point, they're legally required to allow you to go through the asylum process. So in terms of who is going to actually do that, well, it seems like the Democrats are finally on board with doing something about the border crisis. They made a lot of concessions in that Senate, the Senate immigration bill, and it dealt a lot with the exact issues that I'm talking about now. No bill that we're going to do for immigration is going to change anything unless we change the underlying reason why so many people are coming here, because they can apply for asylum in very easy ways. So if you guys want to change anything about the border, if you want to fix anything like that, it's probably going to be the Harris campaign and not the Donald Trump campaign that's going to end up doing something about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sansol. Moving on to Nina.
Right, I think it's pretty obvious that the Trump administration has no interest, or Trump himself has no interest in actually securing the border, considering obviously we know that the Democratic border the bill that was proposed was shot down by Trump directly because he said because he wanted it to be a political thing. He doesn't actually give a shit about the border. All the border is to Trump is a political thing. He has no interest in actually fixing anything. What I think is one of the most important things that we need to have that is in that bill is more border judges. Because I think the most fucking American thing in this world is to have immigrants come in here legally. And I think you need to have people have a ability to come to this country legally, the same way that we all of our ancestors, assuming we're all Americans here, did. Because that's what's amazing about America, is that we are a nation of immigrants, right? That's what the fucking Statue of Liberty is all about. We need immigration, and we need to have it legally. We need to have it properly. We need to have it so that people have a path to citizenship, so that they can become citizens. I think that there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to come to the best country in the world. Of course I want to come to it, because why is this country the best country in the world? Because we are built of a country of immigrants. We are a melting pot of so many different people. That's why our food is the best. We need immigration. Not only that, when it comes to just having people come into this country, as obviously
15 seconds.
As America. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I was getting carried away. I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't want to add into more, but yes, immigration is the most American thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Nina, moving on to Media Wench.
Yeah, obviously the candidate who's going to be willing to work with people on immigration is probably going to have the better policies versus the guy who doesn't have any plans on immigration except for outrage, which is kind of ironic because his wife is an immigrant. I guess she's just of an acceptable color. So yeah, I definitely think that, you know, taking things into advisement from people who may know more on the subject than you, rather than thinking that you're the only one who can fix things, probably going to lead to better policies. And also, I agree that there needs to be better processes, and namely more judges and more attorneys and representatives in the positions of helping people get through the asylum process. As I have friends who are attorneys, and even just in small counties and jurisdictions, things being able to get through court process is a fucking nightmare because there isn't enough judges and there isn't enough attorneys to be able to deal with cases. Those areas are very, very stressful because they're heavily overburdened with trying to help people. And also, you know, for some reason, helping people seems like some sort of a source of weakness when I don't believe that that is something that is true either. So, yeah, we should definitely work with people who are willing to work with people instead of people who just want to shut people out in a place that's historically been one with a reputation for bringing people in. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, thank you very much. We're now moving on to Hippy Jesus. Can't ever remember which Jesus it is. Go ahead and take it away, bud.
It's the cooler one. So the point of the topic was talking about whose policies would be more beneficial to America: Trump's strict border policy or Kamala's reform, I guess, border policy. I have a feeling that the other side are going to mention the fact that Kamala was the border czar when and saying that she did not do anything to protect the border, to work on the border, to stop any mass immigration. But her job wasn't to hinder immigration. Her job wasn't the border czar. Her job was specifically to examine and improving the underlying conditions in the Northern Triangle of Central America, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, which, in fact, she did do that. She in March of 2014, she had secured commitments from major U.S. and multinational companies to invest more than $5 billion in the region. So if any of you are going to bring up the fact that she did nothing to secure the border, that wasn't her job. She did her job and she exceeded her job. Now we can talk about the actual policies that she's going to put forth. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hippy Jesus. Now on to the other, maybe better, maybe worse Jesus. Up to you to decide. Druid Jesus, take it away.
So part of the problem with this issue is that it's so contentious, and it probably is the biggest, most zeitgeisty issue that we have, at least for this election, and it's been building for quite some time. Going back to Obama, like the Hispanics that I live around called him the deporter-in-chief, and to be honest, I think every single president after him should have probably maintained that deporter-in-chief title, because our asylum system is broken, and because it's broken, we need to start more systematically denying asylum seekers, because Congress is obviously not trying to actually figure this problem out. Why are they not trying to figure this problem out? Because each side wants the credit and the political aptitude to be like, oh, we fixed this, and the other side didn't. The other side was pushing back. It's all bullshit. They are petulant children that are worse than us, and we're on the internet for some substantial amount of time per day. So when it comes down to it, I do like what some of the policy ideas that some of the lefties say, which is like more judges, so that we can actually have maybe an actual constitutional asylums, or not asylum system, but immigration system. Because currently our system is so broken that I think it is unconstitutional because they are not given timely hearings for their grievances. I think that the Trump and the Biden administrations both had a remain in Mexico policy that started to get the process to be a little bit more efficient and a little bit more not under the control of the cartel. And that's where it comes down to.
Okay, thank you very much, Druid Jesus. Moving on to Admiral Gibbs. Take it away.
Yeah, so as the only one here who is the child of an illegal immigrant, aka an anchor baby, I feel like that I'm intimately tied to this issue and I know it very well in and out. It's really an interesting topic to me, and I find what the Dims do is just utter dishonesty the entire time here. First, they want to talk about this bill that got shut down all the time. Every time this topic comes up, they talk about this bill. But you know what they conveniently leave out is the Border and Security Immigration Reform Act of 2018, which was done under Trump, which would have gave us a border wall, and it would have also done immigration reform. I agree. I think immigration reform is absolutely necessary. We need more people coming. We definitely need that. I agree. We should make it easier for people to come. But we also got to build a wall. We got to get a secure border. We need to know who's coming. We need a wall stop sex trafficking. It's a major issue. It stops drug trafficking, all these things. There's a reason why the DNC has walls outside the DNC. I mean, it proves they work. I don't know really why that's even a debate. I know Tim Walz doesn't understand walls. That's why he's always talking about them. Crazy stuff, good stuff there. I just, whenever we sit here and they talk about these things, they talk about, oh, Kamala was never the borders are. Well, it was the left that actually started calling the borders are. And ironically, she replaced somebody whose unofficial title before was the borders are. I mean, even if we want to call her the migrations are, the northern triangles are, she accomplished nothing there either, and it's an abysmal failure across the whole border, and it's just terrible. In fact, we should call her the failures are. In fact, she's only pushed forward a immigration reform bill with even their last bill was only an immigration reform bill. It didn't actually address the root issue, which was the porous border. Thank God Greg Abbott has, and we've had Operation Lone Star, which has decreased illegal immigration by 85% since he implemented it. It's amazing. Just for one
15
example,
seconds.
Shelby Park had 1,500 people come in a day. Now they have 3 a week. I got to say, that sounds like a win. Sounds like fucking Wall's work.
Okay, thank you very much, Admiral
It's party
Gibbs.
time.
All right. Oh,
How the fuck did somebody do that? Did you do that?
What was that?
All right.
He actually managed to play that on my shit. Okay. I see you. There's fucking hacking going on here right now.
Impression.
All right.
All right, Pinapple TV. Thank you. Please.
So I'm going to respond to you guys real quick. We have legal limits for a reason. The solution isn't just to have enough judges to give everyone legal citizenship. We couldn't take in 50 million in a year. I think we would all agree with that. So there are reasons that we have limited even legal immigration. It's nice to help people. It's like being charitable when you're $40 trillion in debt. I don't know that I agree with that. And as far as the immigrants comment that this is a country of immigrants, those immigrants are already here. The immigrants that are showing up at the border are not the immigrants that built this country over the last 100 years. So those three arguments don't matter to me. But as far as which candidate has a more effective platform, it depends what your goal is. Kamala's path to citizenship plan is going to incentivize even more immigration, which we already know is a largely economic migration. It's not all asylum seekers, and there's a lot of asylum abuse, which I think Trump has talked about fixing. So if you want to actually address that asylum problem that Sanzo mentioned, I think Trump's the one to do that. Kamala's plan is to incentivize more migration, give them a path to citizenship, and enshrine a Democratic majority forever. We will never have presidential elections that are anywhere close because they just gifted anyone who can get here citizenship. Trump is going to disincentivize. Hold on, well, one second. I'll just get to this last part, just because I have it all written down like a schizo.
Sure.
Trump's plan is going to actually disincentivize future border crossings by engaging in deportation as normal. If you think we can't deport them because those places are so cruel, I don't know why you would suggest that these countries are shitholes like that. So I don't see the problem with deporting. I don't think it's like this door-to-door thing. It's as simple as having local law enforcement actually work with ICE like they used to without giving federal funds to sanctuary cities. These are all... It's not an immediate, we just got to wave and go door to door. But when you get arrested and you're here illegally and you've had a DUI or
15 seconds,
any crime basically, you should be deported. It will actually disincentivize further immigration. So if you want to fix the immigration crisis, it's Trump, obviously.
5. Okay.
3, 2.
Yes, thank you very much, Pentuple. Moving on to Drone Tech. Take it away.
Yeah, so it's pretty clear to me that if you want to fix this, or at least get on a road to fixing it, you definitely have to go with the Republicans, because Democrats have been very open for decades now about the fact that they want an unrelenting flow of illegal immigration. They say immigration, but we know they mean illegal immigration into the country, because they think that they're going to turn red states blue by doing that. Some people call this replacement or whatever. I don't know if it's that, but Democrats have been very open about their plan to do this for a long time. And so they don't really have any motivation to stop it, because they believe that these people are going to come, and once they become dependent on Democrat handouts and they're just going to be dependent on Democrats and vote for them permanently and give them a permanent majority. So when Sondesol asked, why is the crisis the way it is? I think that's a big part of it. A lot of illegal immigrants, a lot of migrants that have come have said that they came because they felt Biden was they felt Biden was going to give them everything they needed, was going to welcome them with open arms. So there's a big incentive to come here illegally. There's no incentive to come legally. And Nina said that the border is a political thing to Trump. Well, it's purely political to the Democrats. Don't believe any other thing, because like I said, they've been open for years by the fact they do believe that this will result in them getting permanent control for the foreseeable future. A lot of the reason, if you look right now, a majority of Americans do support mass deportations. And that's the big reason for that is because it's gotten so bad. There was 2.7 million encounters in just 1 year. In 2003 of Biden's term, when it never reached anywhere near that under Trump. Trump had the Remain in Mexico policy. Biden got rid of that on day one, although I think it took a while to go out. But
okay, thank you very much, Drone Tech. We're going to be moving on to the pit section of this. We're going to have everybody in here popping around one more time for everybody. Whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? Please, for everybody that's in the pit, try to keep this connected specifically to the candidates for clarity. What's going on?
What do you think encounters?
Oh, that was just T for Trump. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, that means time out.
The hype's on our side. Don't let them gaslight you.
Take it away, guys.
What do you think encounters mean? Drone, what do you think
something that actually goes off of what Pentuple was saying?
Well, crossings and encounters.
Was that also Jesus? Great straw man, because you did unlock Admiral Gibbs' rant card, so that was hilarious. Jesus? I know, right? But when it comes down to like who was running this, like Republicans really actually don't care who's in charge, because your elites don't care who was in charge.
Okay, I have a quick thing. Okay, first off, you said that Kamala's plan would incentivize people to
it already is.
Come over.
It does.
All right. But like here's the thing. The main incentive, right, for people to come here and try and claim asylum is that the asylum process is so like forgiving, all things considered. It has been the policy of the Democratic Party over the past couple of years to make that a little bit more difficult, but the actual law.
Do you agree that there's asylum abuse, or is that what we're saying?
Yeah, there's almost certainly
asylum abuse. It's people who claim asylum but aren't coming. They aren't fleeing persecution for some.
They're coming for economic reasons, because like you said, we have the best economy in the world. Not by accident. We didn't get handed to it either.
Right.
These immigrants that came here had to build it.
Biden and Kamala.
You roll your eyes. You have no argument. So it's over for you.
I'm letting Sunsil talk. We can have our argument bet, but I'm gonna let
Biden and Kamala. They were the ones that were totally fine with, getting the Democrats behind the mostly Republican. Granted, they had to make some concessions, but the amount of concessions that the Democrats made to the Republicans so that they could get that Ukraine funding and that Israel funding through was unbelievable. It was the most conservative anti-immigration.
It was still worthless.
That's not true. That's not true, Sansol.
It's absolutely true.
You can't say
Okay, all right.
Sanso, you
Let
are
me
actually
just
not-
finish. Let me
Go
just
ahead,
finish
Sanso, but
this
you're being
real
bad
quick.
faith right now if you want to say that.
I'm
Like,
not being bad
you are
faith
because
whatsoever.
the age.
All right,
I
let
can
me
give you
hold
the
on.
immigration bill that was stronger. From
Okay,
the-
so
from the
Kamala's
administration.
plan includes resuscitating that bill that Trump was the one that
Nope.
went in and said, "Hold on,
The one that
I don't
lets
want you
2
guys to
million
pass this."
illegals through every year.
That's not how it works, and that's just a misreading of the thing.
Again, it's not
So
illegal.
that's number
They're
one.
not
Trump-
even
Trump
allowed to
hasn't said.
declare a
Trump
They're
hasn't
not
said that.
illegal.
Trump
They're
hasn't.
not secret
Oh
too.
my
All right.
fucking
I'm gonna have to take
God.
Sean
So,
Soul. Are you done with your
Kamala-
point yet?
I'm trying, but literally every time I start,
Did you
they
say
start
Kamala?
I'll
freaking
give
the
you
fuck
10
out.
seconds. 10 seconds. Go ahead. Wrap it up.
All right. So Kamala's actually trying to get that thing through. Trump has not said that he wants to revive that plan. That is a good plan. That would
We don't need that
disincentivize people
plan.
from coming over. Number two, Mr. Drone Tech brought up the soft replacement theory. Even you admitted that was like the soft replacement thing.
I
But,
didn't
like,
bring it
if
up.
we-
Democrats openly
You
talk
literally,
about it.
I'm talking.
They
who's
are
in this
replacing us. They're
conversation?
trying to
Are
add
Democrats
20
in this
million new
conversation,
Democratic
or are we
voters.
in this conversation?
All
Drone
right.
Tech. All right.
We're
So you
talking
brought the
about
soft
Democrat policy and
replacement.
who's going
All right, Sansol, I gotta pull you. I gotta pull you.
All right.
Son, pull in Sansol. Thank you, Sansol. Okay.
They can't
Somebody
win.
respond to that.
Sanso's absolutely
20
incorrect, by
million.
the way. He's absolutely incorrect. I posted the link just now, and that's why, boys, not a Facebook link. This is the Congress.gov. It's HR 6136. This is the bill that was issued under Trump. It actually has border wall funding and oh Lord, please, thank you, Lisa.
Mexico was
It
supposed to pay for
has
that.
more funding. It has more.
Yes, you do. You don't, because you want people to immigrate here forever,
It has
like at any
more
rate.
funding.
And it doesn't matter.
Hold on. You don't
All right.
You don't understand that we've
Why do you
built
not
an
want
infrastructure.
immigrants?
Hold on.
Hold on. Programs. You can't
Pentouple,
give them to
Pentouple.
8 million fucking people.
Pentouple, let
Double our
Gibbs finish.
population in 10 years. It's not
Million
possible.
people?
Let me just finish.
You
I'm not- this
actually
is
would
gonna
like
take
be on the
long.
level it makes sense?
You are giving
Just like to
no
remind the
limits.
moderator he's got a
You
server
wanted to
mute
just make
button that
them
he
all
can
citizens.
use on the Republicans at any fucking time instead of just our side.
Like,
Okay.
silence
You can
my
practice
political
this.
opponent. Please.
I just
There you go.
all right,
Silence
so,
them.
Okay,
I just want to
Gibbs,
bring up
Gibbs and
yeah,
Nina,
thanks.
please.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Look, so the thing is, I posted this, and I know I just talked about the border wall that Trump wanted to do, but he also, in this bill, and you can look at it, y'all can go through it, he actually gives more money to every single thing that the Dems wanted in their most recent bill. He was going to hire more judges than they wanted. He was going to do all the things they wanted in
It's
this
really
other
weird
bill.
that he
plus
decided to
some.
strike it down then,
Well,
huh?
guess who struck it
No,
down?
not him.
It was your boy Chuck Schumer. So you can't
Yeah.
sit here and get on your high hill and
It
tell
was
me,
our
oh,
boy
Kamala and
Chuck
them
Schumer.
wanted
Yeah,
to
what
sit here
office
and
did
go,
Trump hold when
hey,
that happened?
Wrap it up,
What
Gibbs.
office was he
yeah, I'm
holding?
gonna get this. It's interesting. They're gonna sit here and get on this dishonest high horse and say, "Oh, you struck down this other bill, which was total bullshit."
You're
When
about to get
Trump had a
muted.
more inclusive immigration bill
Would
and
you
a
say
stronger
that
border
Trump
policy.
is the head of the Republican Party?
Okay, we're moving on. I'm gonna bring back Hippy. Bring it back. Pent up. Boom.
You're
What?
Sorry, Sansol and Gibbs, you guys are just tempt. Everybody else, do you want to respond to what Gibbs had to say? Or were you even listening?
Well, I guess I
Well,
have to
see,
ask,
I
like,
was
do you
still
think that
zoned
the
in
wall
on
is useful?
Sansol's point that he was trying to make and never got through because fucking laughing Republican Kamala over here.
Okay, well then
and
respond to
Mexican
it. Stop
Ginger
complaining and
is just
respond to it.
fucking
Stop
crazy.
complaining and respond to it right now. Come on.
I can't respond to it because I don't know what he was trying to say because I couldn't hear him.
With
He
it,
was talking about replacement, soft replacement or something.
Okay, what is the problem? I have to ask, what is the problem with having immigration? It's always been
immigration's
our country
fine.
the strongest.
Legal.
It's been
Legal
a net
immigration.
boon to our country. What are you guys talking about? Our population growth is not going to succeed. Like, we need
What?
immigration to have my
Nia,
country
okay.
keep running.
Let
What
me
are
ask
you
you.
guys saying that you have a problem with immigration?
You're the one who wants social programs for everyone. You want Medicare for
I'm-
all.
shush, shush,
New
shush,
York City's falling apart because they're taking so many migrants and they can't
Hey.
give them anything. They're giving them
Hey,
fucking
you
hotels.
can't say
They're
those are
draining the
All right.
resources of the city. Like we
you guys
can't.
claim
That's
that
the
you
answer.
love-
We can't.
You guys
can't
claim
take
you
the
love
whole
illegal
world.
immigrants, yet what happened is
I'm not saying
immediately
illegal
when
immigrants. I'm saying immigration in general.
no, but this see,
can
this
have
is the word
legal
game you guys play.
immigration.
We're
They don't
talking
know
about
how to
illegal.
distinguish between the
It's
two.
limited for a reason.
Can I say this?
Yeah,
So what
sure.
happened
I don't
when
disagree.
what happened when Republican governors started busing all these people to Democrat cities and to Martha's Vineyard? Immediately,
They spent a lot of
gone.
my taxpayer
Start
dollars
freaking
in
out.
Texas to send a
Why do you
bunch
think-
of people randomly over to Martha. Yeah, it was psychotic.
Hey, Texas
right,
saved
okay.
money doing
And-
that.
but it's not
I don't know if you
psychotic
knew that.
when
They
sliding
saved
people,
money
drop
doing
them off
that.
in
That's
American
why they
suburbs,
spent
right?
the money to send them out, because then they didn't have to pay
Can you
them.
shut the fuck
That's
up so I can
actually
hear what
true.
you're saying?
You just said that, yet Joe Biden was flying immigrants in the night on planes into suburbs of America in secret for
for years there.
Dang,
Where are you getting that from?
Oh, there's a lot of sources. We can
Is
pull
that
it
a
up.
real
Yeah,
thing?
I mean, it's-
I mean, don't act like I should know
well-reported
this.
news.
That's a weird thing.
Why do you
to
think
say.
every other country?
Why do you think they started doing the busing thing? It was a response.
Yeah,
Because
that's 100%.
Because America's
you
fucking
think,
basically
okay,
one of
let me bring up another point.
You think it? Oh my god, this is so silly.
Can I
Why
bring
do
up
you
another
think
thing?
that they should
Why do you
spend
think-
taxpayer money to send immigrants randomly to Martha's Vineyard?
Good question. Oh no,
It was a good PR
the
move,
Martha's
honestly.
Vineyard thing was to make a point.
It was a good PR move.
You're doing this to us.
Show the
all
world
these-
that the
Cool, but
elites don't agree.
my taxes from
Your tax dollars are going to it anyway.
Your tax,
What are you
it's not only
talking
your taxes.
Are you insane? Like
Hold on,
you
you
don't
think a
think your
good political
tax dollars?
stunt is
Hold
not
on.
good?
You don't think your tax dollars are going to pay for Biden to fly the migrants around the country or to
I have
bus
no
them or
idea what
whatever?
you're talking about. If that's the thing,
Okay.
then I don't agree with that.
Okay,
Well,
well,
it's
okay. So why do you think there's so many black voters now who are saying they're going to vote for Trump? Because a lot of these migrants have been bused
What does
now
this have
into
to do with
these
black people?
Democrat. Well, there's been a big shift.
Where
There's
do you
been a
think the
lot more
migrants are
black
going?
people.
What neighborhoods
No,
do you
but
think
this
they're
is
getting
happening.
ending up in?
I'm trying to yeah, they're ending
guys
up
are
in
so
these
behind
neighborhoods
on this
and they're
conversation.
taking
Okay,
these
chill.
illegals are taking resources away from these low-income black residents.
What? Because
and so
the
they're
black
like, what the
residents
hell?
wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard?
No, the Martha's Vineyard thing was just to show that Democrats, they say one thing, but they act another way. They don't actually want this.
It's almost like if you send them to a place that doesn't have
your
any infrastructure to fucking hold them, like Martha's fucking Vineyard, they're not going to be able to fucking house them. Yeah, it's like
What happened when we sent them to New York?
Martha's Vineyard is like a fucking like specific
What
fucking
happened?
like
What
tiny
happened?
suburb like
Multi-millionaires who have multiple houses and have a house in LA, Miami,
Do you know what Martha?
Oh wow! Congratulations! Yeah.
Okay.
But are there like
Okay,
are there a
who
bunch of
wants to go through
apartments?
their
Are
time
there enough apartments there for them to house?
It's like taking them to
the
like the
migrants?
Hamptons.
What
Like,
did-
what do you
There's not
what do
enough
you
here.
want?
Definitely.
What did the mayor of New York
You're gonna
say?
get-
What did of
But,
New York
like,
City say?
This is like
He said
this
that
is
the
so
migrants that were
fucking
being
stupid.
bused into a city.
I don't even want to care about Martin.
Okay, this is what I want to ask because
Ridiculous.
I didn't get to finish the point earlier.
Sure.
Because we're like off on a like major tangent here. So we haven't really like you said that Chuck Schumer was the one that shot it down. I have a link right here.
got
AP
it.
News that's Schumer saying, hey, why do they not want to fix this emergency? We're literally like here. We have the votes to do it, and it's the Republicans that are not voting for this. I don't know how it's Chuck Schumer that's the one that's killing this bill. Also, I just want to bring us back to that soft replacement theory thing, right? Like they just want to build up more votes in all these places because for some reason, and I'll say this, Democrats have a problem too with just assuming that minorities are going to vote for them forever. But why do you think Hispanics vote for Dems even though they're largely social? Hold on, because they're largely. Oh my God, I'm literally on the last sentence of what I'm trying to say before I get muted again. You fucking loser! Shut the fuck up.
You're like,
okay?
why would they vote for
So
us?
why do they vote for us when they're largely socially conservative? They're a bunch of fucking Catholics
True.
coming from below the fucking
Yes.
border. I lived in Houston, Texas for the majority of my life. A lot of them are extremely fucking socially conservative, but for
That's
some
gonna-
reason Republicans can't get those
he's
fucking
right.
voters. Why? Maybe it's because they come off as
Republicans are opposed.
or maybe the Republicans just come off as
That's
super
going
fucking
through life.
racist all the fucking time. Every single fucking time they open their mouth.
Okay, I'm pulling this on.
Let's make it out to be.
Take it.
Why they vote for you?
Moving over. Druid Jesus, it's your turn. You haven't talked for a little while. I'm going to focus on Druid Jesus, Media Wench, and Hippy Jesus for a little bit in this, just because you guys haven't said almost anything.
So there's a lot here, right? But going to what Oversanzel was like talking about is it comes down to the Dems have just kind of better propaganda, and Republicans just are very bad at being creative and are very bad at actually talking to their constituency because they're so used to being in their small communities and their small churches and being very great in talking to those guys, and they're not so great at talking to communities that they don't constantly pertain to, which is why it's actually probably the conservatives here probably rank way higher than any of your average conservatives on creativity, because we're here, we're trying to be loud and we're trying to like be advocates for this cause. And so when it comes down to it, there's just a lot of like points and tangents that we're getting on into this, which it comes down to both sides.
Yeah,
both sides are playing the political game around this immigration
What's the cause?
system.
Yeah,
the cause?
because what's the policy other than just build
The
a wall
policy
and
is
close
both
the
sides
border
are
down
trying to get
and stop
their
just
win.
letting brown
The
people
policy
in.
going back to what you guys are saying
You
about
guys
this whole
are the
entire
only
back and
ones who
forth.
speak of race.
Shut up.
this policy of going back and forth of like,
It's a fucking
Trump had
cop out. You know it is.
What policy?
This,
Can we
this
let
policy
Jesus
of-
talk here?
Yeah. So this going back and forth of, Trump had a policy to help immigration. The Dems had a policy to help immigration. This is literally the problem. Everybody wants credit for fixing this problem, which means that this problem is just going to persist. So what it comes down to, what?
I don't
What?
understand that. You're saying that because they both have policies that the problem is going to persist?
So yes, and I'll get into the exact
Sure.
line item part of what Republicans are so annoyed about with this system of huge bureaucracy. Everything is connected and together in one bill, whereas we could just do a border bill, a nonpartisan border bill, nonpartisan international affairs bill.
Yeah, and the Dems try to do
focus
it.
on the bills. No, you guys don't. You guys try and lump everything together so that there's a child tax credit for the blind and people without feet.
Wait,
I don't know what that part
are you
is.
saying that the border bill?
That's what, yes, literally. Like,
we
I'm being a
literally
little
did
hyperbolic here,
just
but literally that's what the
nonpartisan
Dems
border
passed for
bill,
their
and
for
then
their.
the Republicans were the one who shut it down.
But there's so
Because they
many
don't
different.
want
We can go line item by
Like,
line item. We don't have
I
the
mean,
we don't have the possibility to do that right now. But we could, if you guys want to,
Republicans
later
do.
on, we can go over these bills and actually show like, hey, this is a connection of like something that the left would even be like, why is this in an immigration bill? Why aren't we talking about asylum in this immigration bill? Because we're not. We're just talking about things that we can do. We just don't focus on the actual topics at hand on a national level, and it's really frustrating when people are at each other's throats when we need to be bipartisan about this. Like a kind of bipartisan idea
agree.
behind this.
I would agree.
Real quick, I'll hand it over.
Yeah.
Is that there are more Dems who are leaving the left and coming over to the right to try and work on this issue than there are people on the right
not
No,
leaving
I
the
mean
right
the idea of it
for
being
this issue.
bipartisan is that there are a lot of you're right, there are a lot of Dems that are working on this issue, but it's not necessarily like leaving. You don't have to not be democratic if you support like having a border bill. That's not at all like
They go independent.
You can't. Okay.
When you say that they left
no,
the
that's not
Dems, what do you
true.
mean?
I mean, they dropped the Dems from their election voter registration and they go as independent.
No, well,
Sure,
yeah, whatever.
they're still going to be voting for
Sure,
Dems,
sure, whatever.
probably up and down
Done
tickets.
this.
Oh, wait, well, hold on. To be fair,
Prominent
who gives a shit about any of
senators have
this when
done
the
this, my
topic
friend.
is about
Prominent
Kamala versus-
representatives have
Well, I'm
done
asking
this.
a
Are you
name.
talking about random
I don't
citizens,
know the
or
name
are you
off the top
talking
of my
about
head, but
people
we
in
can
power?
get the specific name. Yeah, I'm talking about actual politicians. There's a senator
So
from
can you
Arizona.
name one?
I can't off the top of my head. I have too much knowledge in my head to actually give you.
Oh,
a
you're
specific
talking about
name.
Kristen
Profoundly based
Cinema?
answer. Insanely.
Sure,
It
that's
wasn't
one of them,
over
yeah.
that.
There's
That's not why she
obviously a
dropped
fundamental
to
disagreement
an
about how to
independent.
approach this. There's one side that doesn't want to deport anyone. They don't want to disincentivize further immigration. They just want to legalize all of it. And the other
Nobody
side
said that.
wants
The system
to
was
I
deport
working
think
people
it would
with
be
them
who are
going
here
years
illegally
solid if we had
and
more
just need to fix
disincentivize
it.
immigration from
Legally.
the start.
Nobody here said that. Nobody here said that there should be no deportations. Like even Sansel said
Yeah.
that. The
Wait, do you guys
deportations are
agree with
okay.
deporting people? Do you?
It depends, but like the
Illegally
mass
here.
deportation that you
Depends on-
guys.
Okay, I'm gonna pull
Listen,
Nina
yeah,
for a
absolutely.
second.
Like
What
because
does it
okay,
depend on?
We're talking about the
depending
cartels
is-
controlling our immigration system.
Well, hold on. I want to
That's-
jump in. I want to
what
jump
we're
in.
talking about
we
now.
control our
We're
immigration
not
system. We just
talking
don't
about
do
criminals.
anything about it.
No,
These
hold on.
people are coming on the border paying like $3,000 a head to get carried up.
That's out there.
What we're
Hold on,
trying
this
to talk
I'm gonna
about
pull-
are the policies put forth, and if we're going to be talking about the deportations and then Pirtle or Pentuple saying that we just giving our arguments that we're not saying about how we want to make it all legal, we want to make no deportations, when Sansel himself said that deportations were fine, it just depends on what it is. Mass deportations
What do you mean depends on
logistically.
what it is? They're
I'm just
illegally
gonna
here
keep
or not.
going, and then you can ask me the goddamn question when I'm fucking done. This is the problem. Yeah, thank you. You've been interrupting everybody this whole time.
Everyone's been
We need to
interrupting everyone.
Hey,
actually-
this
no,
whole
no, no,
time.
hey, I'll do the
We need to-
moderation. Say what you have to say. I don't want to hear fucking metagaming. Say what you have to say.
Yeah, thanks. This is like we need to talk about what we're actually saying, not what our brain imagines the other side saying. We're okay with deportations. Mass deportation would absolutely logistically fuck us up if we try to deport all 20-something
It's
million
logistically
illegal.
ridiculous.
Okay.
It's just
Do you
it's
agree then
impossible.
Do you agree with
Can
cutting
we
off
shut
federal
up and
funding to
let him
sanctuary
finish?
cities and where local law enforcement refuses to work with ICE? Do you agree with those
No,
changes
because I
to
think
allow these?
sanctuary cities should
But
be
I don't
something
think
that
you actually believe in
advocate
deporting
for.
at all. I think you
No,
look for any reason to
sanctuary
not
cities
deport
should be
everyone.
Do you even
something
know
that
what a
advocate for
sanctuary
being a
city is?
state
Do you know how they
rights,
function?
like issue.
Hold on. Let me just.
Yeah, are you not for
we're,
state rights?
we're a little off topic though, right? Like that's not really what we're talking. Who gives a shit about like the sanctuary cities? We're talking about the Kamala policy versus Trump policy, and we have at least the Biden policy that was put up, and we have the Trump policy that was put up in 2018, right? The Trump policy was secure the border with
Way
the wall,
better.
and then check this out. It was everything in the border bill that Dems put up in 2024, except it was more. It gave you everything y'all asked for, and y'all said, fuck Trump, and y'all just shut it down. So when y'all get on y'all's high horse and say, oh, we want immigration reform, we want these people to say, you are lying, because you would have sat here and supported that bill, which would have done two things. It would have stopped the inflow at the start, and like the project or Operation Lone Star has proven to be worked, 85% effective, and it would have gave you everything you wanted more of. Asylum, more judges for asylum, speed up the process, reform it so we have asylum reform, every single thing you wanted, and y'all still said, fuck you, Trump.
Protecting the DACA recipients, and it included.
The new one didn't do that either. The new one didn't do that either. So this is
I
dishonest.
know.
And guess
No,
what?
but that was the state of negotiations in 2018.
No, they threw a little hissy fit, even though they got everything they asked for.
That was
shut it down.
Hold on. I've been quiet. I've been quiet because I don't want to get server muted. But like that was the state of negotiations in 2018. All right, and part of it was they weren't giving any protections to DACA recipients. I'm pretty sure that they said something about deporting DACA recipients, and the border wall was a complete political non-starter. Now, if you want to say that the Democrats are just like obstinate, they'll never vote for anything as long as it's Donald Trump in charge, you can fucking say that. But I don't know if that's necessarily true, because they were. This is the last part, because they were willing to pass this bill that had less of the things that they wanted in it. Right? They had this bill that was in front of them that had less things that the Democrats wanted and way more things that the Republicans wanted, and the Republicans shot it down. Right?
This is the problem: is the border wall works. Like I know y'all don't want to sit here and say it doesn't, but
there's no
Operation Lone Star has unequivocally proved it does work. Shelby Park is a perfect example.
Can you give me
It went from 1,500 people a day to 3 people a week. I like that is unequivocal proof. And then if you look at across the board,
How is that unequivocal proof if it's just a small subset of information?
It's a very, very tiny. It's a small section that's heavily fucking patrolled. You can't have that level of security. You're muted, Gibbs. You can't have that level of security
wasting
across
your
the
finite
entire 1,000 fucking mile border.
Okay.
Yeah, like we don't have the manpower to go from one side of the border to the other. Like this is the same thing that's a logistical nightmare, as well as the mass deportations. Every single policy that the Republicans put forth, like Trump, are a nightmare logistically. There's no shot we're going to be able to easily mass deport people. There's no shot we're going to have the manpower for the border wall.
And the final point is when you could just destroy
horrible.
You could just destroy the incentive, which was you could see exactly when Obama changed there was some executive action that he took that changed the way that asylum seeking was enforced at the border. He changed that. And then people were like, oh, well, if we go and we claim asylum, then we can go into the United States. It seems like that's where like the massive influx of people started, right? Now, if we change the way that asylum worked, which was in the fucking bill, if we change the way that we process asylum seekers, which was
You're
in the
unmuted.
bill.
Oh, what's the 85% along the whole border?
I'm sorry.
Talking about Shelby Park. Listen, I was ready. I was going to get that point across.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't read your hand right. Can you say it again?
Here, my guy.
85% along the whole border.
That's what America's built off of. It's built off of
Nobody
Why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep saying that? Like the immigrants who are showing up at the border, the ones who get credit for building America.
Immigrants who go 4 minutes to final statements.
America are already fucking here.
4 minutes to final statements. Make yourself heard.
Already here.
My God.
They're not at the border. They're not showing up today.
So sensitive.
They didn't do anything. I'm laughing at you.
They come here and they get shot. Wait.
Deserve to be an American. You didn't do anything.
Pintuple.
Hey, I was born here. I'm an American.
Do you disagree?
Yeah, so you didn't do anything.
No, I did.
Do you
They
disagree?
worked their ass off to get here. They're more American
Do you
than I think
disagree
you
that
are.
more people in the United States means that there is a larger labor pool that means that people can get more jobs and it speeds up our economy?
What are we, GDP chasing? I thought you guys didn't like that, but I don't understand.
Wait,
What do you think?
hold on.
We
Who
don't
are you
like
talking
GDP.
to?
Instead of obfuscating, answer the question he's asking you.
What is
Do
the
you
question
agree?
he's asking? Do I
more
want
people
more
coming
people
here equals more people here equals more people that can move into the labor force, get more jobs. Meaning
Right.
that
Who are they taking
businesses-
jobs from? Who are they
They're
taking
not
jobs
taking
from?
any jobs,
Bullshit.
you dumb
That's
bitch.
Nina, they're right. They do take jobs from people. It's like it hurts.
People that y'all are supposed to be helping.
I think it
Look at Chicago.
reduces the average wages of people who don't have a college degree by like 2%.
Sonsel. So
Yeah,
why did they
not to
freak
mention
out?
the
Why did they
jobs
freak
that
out in
most
Chicago
immigrants are
about it?
taking are like labor jobs, like working on a farm or working construction. I am somebody who works in construction. I work with a lot of immigrants that come to this country to work.
This is just fake news.
Yeah, they're great workers.
No, what I'm trying to do is talk. So when in my workforce, in my workforce, there is a lot of immigrants that come to America to actually help build. We are in the trades. You Republicans preach that people need to go into the trades. You preach that we have a labor shortage when it comes to working in the trades. Guess what? The immigrants are actually putting forth that
Illegal
effort
immigrants.
to rebuild that. No, not just illegal immigrants.
This is
They
don't want to replace Americans.
Those
I like
immigrants are
Americans to do
helping
that.
us. They are helping rebuild America, being into the trades, helping rebuild businesses, helping redo this. They are helping our labor force, and you're over here trying to cut small businesses.
So let's get specific as to what Republicans have an issue with.
Why don't they go help that one?
Let's get specific as to what Republicans have an issue with.
I want to know why Democrats hate poor people, because that's what's happening right now in Chicago. A $300 million dollar facility that was going to be built.
Let him talk. 2 minutes.
$300 million. I'm not going to take 2 minutes. It'll be quick. $300 million facility that was going to be built and used by African Americans was instead repurposed to use to house illegal aliens, and they are up in arms about it in Chicago. But hey, Democrats are like, no, suck our dick and enjoy it. That's what they're telling the poor people.
What it comes down to that I think both sides can agree with is that there's an abuse of our asylum system, and that we need. Sorry, I wrote some stuff down and it's all chaotic right now. But because this conversation is just a fucking mess. We can be specific on what Republicans actually think, which is anti-immigrant crime, anti-cartel crime, anti-cartel control over the border, which I think the Dems can also agree with.
1 minute
trafficking sucks. And I think that the Dems can also agree that there's an abuse of the asylum system, and that both sides are trying to take credit for the fixing of the asylum system and immigration system when we need to stop being or wanting credit. We need to be able to do things anonymously, and if you can do something that actually creates a better world, if you can do it anonymously, you're actually a good person. Whereas if you want credit for it, you're just a fucking tool.
That would be great. But what we need is people to have the bravery to put their faces down. We need people that are brave enough to actually go out there and make the hard decisions. But Republicans aren't willing to do that. Democrats seem to have been able to do that.
No, and that's just a perspective issue that we're gonna.
Yeah, that's what you said. They work really hard to get here. If they work really hard to break into your house, are you cool with that?
My house is different from the country.
Into my house.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for all the stuff that you had to say. Thank you very much. I know it feels like we could go forever, but unfortunately, it is 4:20, the official fucking have a good time moment of the day, and we have 18 minutes roughly of closing statements, and then you guys are going to be able to say your goodbyes as well. Thank you, everybody who is participating. Thank you for everybody who survived the pit out there in the audience. You guys did great. Hopefully, everybody is pissed about how much I muted you. Because that's really what I was trying to accomplish. Shout out everybody who was who was a good sport about it and who popped back in. We're going to be going through closing statements in the same order as before. Unless you guys want to switch the order up, it does actually favor the conservative side. I realize that you guys all get the last say. If everybody wants to continue that way, we will. If you guys want to go in the perfectly opposite order, we can. I'm just going to offer that one time at the end.
I think if we're gonna switch it, we need to switch it multiple times throughout the panel and not just at the end.
Just do liberal, conservative, liberal, conservative, liberal.
All right, I can do that.
We can do that. Switch it.
All right, then I'm going to be doing exactly that by just going back and forth. So it's still going to start with Sonsel, but then immediately after that, we're going to skip straight to I believe Druid Jesus. So, with all that said, we are entering closing statements of the final topic of conversation, which I'm going to repeat because we may have gotten off of it a little bit, just so everybody's caught back up. Whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? One more time. whose immigration policies will be more effective for the United States? Kamala Harris's approach or Donald Trump's? Sanzel, with your final statement for the evening, please take it away. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why conservatives are saying that the bill was not as strong as it should have been. It needed to go way further when it's majority Republican policies that are inside of that. They took out most of the Democratic concessions that were negotiated back in 2018. So it's like overwhelmingly what the conservatives wanted. It was a wish list, and they shut it down because it was supposed to help Donald Trump with his election bid here in 2024. There is an interesting conversation to be had around immigration in the United States. It feels like Hippy Jesus was like kind of tickling the edges of that interesting conversation, but unfortunately we can't get past like the Democrats are trying to bring in as many people as possible to like actually have that part of the conversation, and we're doing like our shout outs and everything too, right?
No, you can do those at the end. You can take this whole 2 minutes for your argument.
Gotcha, yeah. No, I that's about it for me. I'm like a little bit disappointed whenever I have a conversation about immigration because there is a problem with the Democrats and the way that they handle things. Like the conservatives have some points on it, but unfortunately they like cede that entire conversation in favor of arguing a completely different social issue.
Gotcha. Actually, we do have plenty of time. Do you guys just want to do your I'm leaving here?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
cool. All right, please. Sanzel, then.
I'm Sanzel. Yeah, I'm Sanzel. I like to very badly play Pokemon on stream right now.
I saw you have a GameCube behind you.
Dude, I collect all the old Nintendo systems.
That's
all right?
lit,
Love playing the old
I'm a
retro
GameCube
stuff.
fan.
You should check out my eBay
Let's
store.
go, Sanzel.
All right.
I'm poor. But anyway, you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch. I got unbanned finally after a year. So Sanzel, SONDSOL. We talk about all sorts of things over here.
Cool. Thank you very much, Sanzel. Outro for Druid Jesus. Take it away.
And I'll also give my final closing thoughts on the whose immigration policies will be more effective because I didn't really. I mean, like obviously you kind of know that I favor Trump, but the real answer is neither. Both sides just suck at this topic, just across the board. Trump marginally because it's just a little bit more authoritarian and a little bit more just blanket strictness. And what it comes down to is that we need to use the good of both to get rid of the bad fat. Both sides are being just petulant children and trying to actually take all the credit for fixing this significant national security and fundamental society issue that we have. And it comes down to the principle on the bills, basically, whatever bills we talk about, whatever policy we talk about, whether it's immigration or something else, it comes down to the principle that conservatives really are gunning for an item-by-item vote in Congress instead of a bundle of bills, because that's what comes down to a lot of the he said, she said of who gets the political one-up on somebody. So with that exit of the topic being said, I am Jesus the Druid, who you can find on YouTube at Jesus the Druid, where I try and do profound vlogs. I also shitpost on Twitter and can be found there at Desert Eon, but that's mainly to see my cute kitty more than even me. I'm willing to stream video games. I'm willing to come on and talk and be a conservative who looks like Jesus for any one of you guys. So please don't be shy in reaching out. And I come to the internet for fun. I watch entertainment and I participate in these because they are entertaining, at least to me. And maybe you're a hate watcher and that's also fine, but I just hope that every viewer and all the panelists are here to have fun and to somewhat stimulate productive, peaceful conversations that lets us be honest as if we were sitting face to face.
10 seconds.
Because I know that some of this would be a bit more Jerry Springer than actually how peaceful that we're able to do it if we were in real life. And yeah, I hope to continue these awesome internet dialogues.
Cool. Thank you very much, Druid Jesus. Moving back to another lib with Nina. Take it away.
Oh, hello. All right. I very much appreciate it. Want to say thank you to all of our panelists here, of course. I think it was really interesting to get all of your perspectives, as much as I disagree with you. But I will go with when we're talking about immigration. I think that immigration is incredibly important for us to do in America. We are a country of immigrants. I am a patriotic bitch myself. So I think that we need immigration as we've always needed it. And that's what makes this country so strong is it's our diversity, you know, not to be too on the nose with that. But I think that what we need is a legal way to come through and come into this country, and I think that we have failed in that as a country. We have not done a good path. Like the idea that you have to wait 10 years to become a U.S. citizen, I think is insane. Unless you're able to expedite it, I think that we need people in this country to come from other countries because that's what our country is built on. I'm patriotic in that. Call me a little silly on that, but I am a very patriotic person. When we're a country of immigrants and we need all of these people coming in, they need to come in legally, of course, and asylum seeking is legally. So I want more judges being funded to be able to have these cases go through where the people who don't have any reason to be here through asylum, then okay. But I want the option for people who do to become citizens and have that start when it comes to even your asylum seeker and become a citizen. Because the most American thing in the world is to be somebody who wants asylum.
15 seconds.
To move to our country and find it because they deserve it, because they have it for the right reasons. That's what I believe in.
Shout yourself out.
Oh, I'm twitch.tv/Nina, Neina, and thank you all.
Cool. Thank you very much, Nina. Back to the other side, Admiral Gibbs. Take it away.
Yes, I am Admiral Gibbs. I'm living proof, boys and girls, of failed immigration policy. Like, my father is a 3-time felon in Mexico. My blood father. I don't know him. All I know is his stuff that I looked up after I found out who he was. Terrible, evil motherfucker. This is the kind of person we don't want coming here. You know, I thank God that I'm alive today because of him, but oh well, we don't want this guy. This is the reason why we need border walls, because then, guess what? We would stop him from being here and, you know, maybe not have him be raping and killing people for a living. That would be great. But, hey, anyway, on that note, it's pretty clear that Dems are dishonest. They sit here and they talk blue in the face about how they actually want change, how they want immigration reform. Then when Donald Trump gives them everything they've ever asked for, plus the border security that we actually need, as evidenced by my father coming over here and just knocking people up willy-nilly, you know, it's clear they don't want it. It's clear they don't want real change. They just want to pretend they want real change. It's clear they hate poor people. They use welfare programs that keep these people indebted to them so they keep getting voted. And then whenever they go, oh, we're going to use these immigrants here and we're going to give all the money we were supposed to give you to somebody else like they're doing in Chicago, people finally are onto their game. And it's just really sad that they're just so willing to be so dishonest to all their constituents. And I can only pray that one day the rest of the Democratic Party wisens up to this evil, evil tactic. On that note, I'm Admiral Gibbs. You can find me at twitch.tv/Admiral Gibbs and everywhere else as Admiral Gibbs.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Behavior.
Admiral Gibbs.
Thank you, Admiral Gibbs. Heading back to the other side of stuff. Media Wench, take it away.
I'm not even getting into it, quite frankly. I mean, give me a break.
Admiral is like wish.com Alex Jones.
Hey, listen. I'm much better than Alex Jones. My conspiracies are willy witty.
Only as in you don't owe people $1 billion combined.
Listen, turn the freaking frogs gay.
So I think that definitely the policies of somebody who is going to be willing to take advisement from people who are more versed or better informed than them on how to deal with immigration and legal immigration and asylum is definitely better over a policy of authoritarianism and absolute fucking chaos. Also, somebody who understands that all of the cogs of a machine need to turn together. You can't just piecemeal out bills and hope that the one section will work without all the other moving parts that will need to go with it, and then blame somebody else when the whole thing falls apart because you didn't fund everything that needed to go together in order to fix a problem. That being said, I'm the Media Wench. You can find me on Echoplex Media. I play Magic, and I'm working on Cult of the Lamb here. We stream 6 days a week. You can find us at echoplexmedia.com, and my soundboard is better than yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Media Wench. Moving on to Pentuple TV. Take it away, bud.
So I obviously made my argument. I think Trump's more effective. I think we have different goals. I think we want to disincentivize this economic migration that's happening. You guys don't care about it. You're willing to just welcome in however many people that can get to our border. That's fine. I don't think law enforcement is authoritarian. I noticed you guys said that. It's the laws of the land. Enforcing law is not inherently authoritarian, so I disagree with that. But I will say to my final statement, it's fortunate that Trump's plan is better because he's going to win. I knew it was over for you guys when your own audience had to be told how to say her name and you were handed a candidate 3 months before the general election. So good luck. I know you guys know you're losing. That's why you have to keep telling yourself you have the joy and hype. Yeah, okay. We've been doing these all year.
Let's put
so
$100
good luck
on it.
in November. I'll put $100 on it.
Let's do it.
Nah, baby.
All right, I'll message you. Anyways, you can see me on Pentuple TV on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, TikTok. Make America great again.
Okay, thank you very
Thanks for
much,
having me.
Pentuple TV. Moving on to Hippy Jesus.
Yeah, to me, I'm still stuck on the fact that we heard both arguments of they're lazy and they're taking handouts and they're taking our jobs. It's really disheartening to me to hear people disenfranchise an entire group of people that come to this country and actually join the jobs that nobody else wants to work. They actually put forth and help the trade job sector that they wholeheartedly bitch about. No workers, nobody wants to work hard labor. When you have an entire group of people that are willing to work hard labor and are willing to do it well and fast. It's really confusing to me. You're just talking out of both sides of your mouth. If you actually worked hard labor and you actually worked to build things, maybe you'll have a different opinion. But until then, enjoy your desk job.
Do you want to shout yourself out?
I literally have nothing. Like, this is just like fun for me.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much then, Hippy Jesus at the end there. And then on to our last person of the day. Thank you very much, Drone Tech. Pop off with your fucking 2 minutes. I fucking completely forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. Just go.
Yeah, I kind of agree that it's a problem in both parties and nobody really wants to solve it, and that it's an asylum issue. A big part of it is Obama talked about it in 2018 that the asylum system was being abused. This is something we've known for a long time and nobody seems to want to fix. However, when you look at it, Democrats have the bigger incentive not to fix it, at least right now. And they've made it pretty clear that they don't really want to fix it and that they see as an ends to permanent control and power. And above all, the people who've been lying to you all this time about Biden's cognitive decline are now telling you that Kamala was never the border czar, even though they're the people who told us she was for years. And now we're supposed to believe that same Kamala Harris is going to get elected and then fix the problem. I mean, she's already there. The problem is happening under her watch, but we're supposed to believe she's just going to magically somehow fix it when she gets in power. I don't believe it. I don't think most Americans believe it. And while a majority does seem to support mass deportations, I just want to say I don't support that. I think that would be really ugly. And I do support immigration. I want people to come here and I want them to become Americans. I don't want millions and millions of people coming in here who don't really have any desire to become American and just want to sort of exploit the country. While these people do come in and they work hard, they work for a lot less than your average American will. And so they're priced out of working in these jobs. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Thanks for having me. And if you want to hear any more of my rantings, you can find me at Twitter at @TheDroneTech and on YouTube at DroneTech, DroneTek.
Okay, thank you very much. And one last time, thank you to everybody who popped in for the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show. I hope you guys all had a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, thank you again for tuning in to Hippy Dippy Recruitment with me, your host, Westside Tyler. Make sure to support the Hippy Dippy and its contestants wherever you find them. Follow our own long-haired Vince McMahon on Twitter at DylanBurns1776. And don't forget to get your pets spayed and neutered. Once again, I'm Westside Tyler. You can find more of me at Westside Tyler on YouTube and Tyler Westside on Twitter. Check out my live streams Monday through Thursday, 1 through 5 p.m. EST. And until next time, as always, stay safe out there. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.